and she actually went and did something else that day along with my son, and I took her to this killer restaurant, but they brought out this red snapper on a plank where they had did it over the wood fire and all that, but it was the whole red snapper head
Yeah,
and
you get
all.
everything down there.
Oh my gosh, it was
Yeah.
so good.
So we're
But yeah,
live on Facebook and YouTube tonight. I got it
right.
going. So hey, Nash, if you want to share, feel free to
Yep.
share some. I'll share a couple
Yeah.
to the groups. That's what we do usually a couple minutes before. We usually try and start at 8:30. And I mean, I don't know how many bourbon groups you belong to a crap ton of the groups.
Nah, just the land and the Cleveland Bourbon Boys. You know, probably the little local groups.
Mm-hmm.
You got your nice pour there, Nash.
So
There, that's looking pretty good, right?
Okay, so where you want me?
No, you're perfect.
Okay.
So what happens is as we talk, but then when he'll talk, he just said it's okay. You know,
Okay.
It flips over to that. So whoever's talking
It
goes
flips
to the front. Now on the YouTube, I had you perfectly in there. That's the camera for YouTube. That's the camera for this. And then if you're talking to him or me, we just look at each other. That's what it is.
So can you send that?
Yes, I can share
Share
that
it.
to you, right? Share to send a messenger. Let's see. I don't even. Are we friends on Facebook?
I only have
think
two friends on Facebook. Brandon, Brandon.
See if
Yep.
you're right. Where are you? Search people. Search. Let's go to do the search. It didn't go. Won't
Don't
let
worry
me.
about it. We'll do it some other time.
Well, let's do this.
I tell you what, send it to Aaron Casanova.
Hold on. Let's Aaron
Casanova. Once he get it, there you go.
Yes, let's see if I'm friend.
That's him right there.
Him. I had friend, but I'll still go here. All right.
All right, Nash. So that's a nice pour you poured, man. That's like a 3-finger, isn't
it? This one here, yeah.
I see you drink a little bit of it.
That's my after work and get things kicking off and just anyway, we're just getting started and just sharing
Just
that.
started. Me and Tiny sitting over here with empty glasses.
What did I bring down? I brought something else for you. I want to do the Lucky 7 real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Yeah. God, smell that glass.
Yeah.
You gotta change it, man.
This isn't even fair for the Lucky 7 because it's going to get a Booker's bump.
I know.
Stick your head in here for just a second.
Yeah.
Or you would do that. Right then.
We're live on Facebook and YouTube. We're going to be starting
live on Facebook.
Hello.
And here's Mrs. Super Nash. Mrs. Super
Nash. How you doing?
Good.
This is Derrick.
This is not only fans. This is a bourbon group.
Yeah.
Hey, I do bourbon too, but only certain kinds.
I heard that.
I'm a little picky about my flavors.
He said, "What's the page?" I said, "Jeffrey Mueller."
He's from California, from
Ventura.
Oh
I
my
went to
God.
high school in Long Beach.
Yeah.
All right.
Long Beach Poly.
In a few minutes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I know where Ventura is. I know exactly where you at.
Oh, that's where my family's at.
Yeah, her mother and stepdad still live in Ventura, about a mile and a half off the beach there in Ventura.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful, but the traffic is horrible.
Got that right. Yeah. Yeah, we try to go out there about once a year, which we didn't make it out there this year. We actually met them in Colorado when we got married.
So Colorado, have you ever been to Trinidad, Colorado?
No, I haven't. My dad, was stationed in Fort Carson, Colorado, retired there in 79. We moved here. I went in the Army out of 10 kids. Got stationed in Fort Carson, Colorado for 3 years.
What? I'm an Air
Yeah.
Force. I'm an Air Force guy.
Are you?
Yeah,
All right.
but I did some training at Fort Dix Air Base Ground Defense School. Yeah, and they sent me around a little bit. I went to every base except a Navy base, but yeah, I had a good time at the Army base. Maybe kind of question my decision to go in the Air Force. You guys party.
I wanted to go Air Force because of my electronics and all that, and wanted to fly. And but I never could catch the Air Force recruiter there. And finally, that Army recruiter kept catching me at the door there every time I kept showing up there trying to catch him. Come on in here, let me talk to you. And then all of a sudden, next thing I knew, I was inducted into the Army.
See, I was supposed to go Marines, and when I went to
That's why I wanted to.
yeah, I was supposed to be a Marine, and then the recruiter, when I went to the office, he was talking so crazy to me. I just got up and walked down the hallway and joined the Air Force. True story. That's how it happened. I was like, okay, this is crazy.
Hey, my dad was 23-year career serviceman, and he spent those 23 years active duty over all 4 branches.
Wow.
He was a Navy CB. He was in the Air Force in Colorado. He was in the Army in Colorado. He was in the Marines, went in the Marines, and he actually did 2 tours in Nam in the Marines, and all that. Did a tour in the Philippines, and also did one over in Korea.
Okay.
So, yeah, he and had 10 kids, but we were born all over the world: Germany, France, Colorado, California.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. So that's how it came about.
That's what you and Sherry are trying to do now, right? You're trying to find all different places and then have different kids.
No.
No.
Different places, no kids.
We get to enjoy grandkids periodically.
Yeah.
So, what kind of bourbon do you like, Mrs. Super Nash?
Yeah, there you
go. Pappy, 12 year.
She's expensive.
Yeah, I've had the 15. I've had the 10. That 15 was
your jam.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that too.
Me and Jeff both like the 15-year.
Yeah, I thought it was very. Had a lot of good flavor to it. You know, this wasn't real punchy, wasn't real oaky. It was an experience. I thought it was a good experience. But some of that stuff it gets a little oaky. You know?
I don't like strong oaky.
Well, yeah, but it's year to year, right?
True.
I mean, it really comes down to year. So I really find that, honestly, like, for instance, I think this year's Knob Creek 15 for me, or 18, right? Knob Creek 18. Well, I got to try it at the festival, and it just was too much oak for me. Now, some people absolutely love the oak. You know, as you get through there, that's what should happen. You know,
you gotta get some oak.
But I mean, but when you get those older age bourbons and the oaks just perfectly balanced, that's what I love. We're getting
so
just about finished up here.
Your guy's watching. He said he got it.
Cool. Hey, how you doing there? That's my partner in crime, my future business partner. So his name is Aaron Casanova, and people don't believe his name is Casanova, but it's Casanova. And but cheers, my man. Say hi to some people in my bourbon group. Hi, Mark, Hunter, Doug, Dave, Stacy, Tim, Tegan, Toriano. Just say hi. If I've left somebody out, probably because I don't like you. No, I'm just joking. There's a bunch of them. Scott, how you doing, Scott? Can't cover everybody, but I'm thinking of you guys. So, cheers. Have a drink while you're watching this. Yeah. And say hi to Super Nash and Tiny. Yeah.
Peace.
We have a good time. We got a good group up here. So how does it go down there as far as like hunting bourbon? Like up here, we have to wait. You know, we get to the store early and we wait. What about down there in South Carolina?
Down here, see, it's an uncontrolled state, so yeah, it hits the liquor stores, and you pretty much some liquor stores have like point systems and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And then there's other liquor stores, they'll jack the prices up and, put it up, some of them put it on there higher than secondary.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll call them out. We'll be going in there. I'll be going in there with my camera. Click, click, click. Stay away from here. Posted it all over. And then there's other liquor stores that these guys, they're reasonable. They'll put it a few dollars above MSRP, and they'll put it on out. First come, first serve.
I mean,
Okay.
you've been down there, right, into Kentucky, into a liquor store. A lot of
Yeah.
times they'll have the 4 grain up there for $3,000 a Taylor or whatever. But then when you're looking at stuff on the shelf, they don't have the same tax that Ohio does. So there's a couple things that in Ohio that you get for like $3, $4, $5 less. But then there's the ones that are $20 more. And just like the control state keeps it all even. But everybody, it used to be a bitch being in a control state. I mean, just 5-6 years ago, being in a control state and everything leading up, everybody ripped on it because it was a control and it was more taxes. But when the collecting kind of went in, what Jim Canepa and Ann Dimmick and her name's slipping my mind. I'll remember it at one point. But what they've done, Lorraine Terry, I believe her last name is, but what they've done is turned Ohio into a plus as a control state, because these brands like Buffalo Trace, like everything Buffalo Trace in Kentucky, you're not going to get for MSRP. I mean, and we all experienced Eagle Rare, $31 or whatever it was, and we can pick those up, whereas in those other states they don't get to get it for that.
No, I was in Chicago this summer and I went to Benny's, and no, I was at Cascade, and the guy had he had Blanton's and Eagle Rare and all this stuff. Of course, it was secondary, and he says to me, he goes, "Man, you better grab this Blanton's at 240. I think it was 209." And he says, "I got E.H. Taylor small batch 125. I got red 150." And when I said, "Man, I'm from Ohio," he says, "Oh, never mind."
Exactly.
He knew right then.
Yeah, I said,
And
"Yeah,
see,
I get
North Carolina, which is right above me, they're a controlled state, just like Ohio and all. And the cool thing about them is you can go onto their website. They do their releases, and they actually will post it on their website when they're releasing to a store and all. And so I can take off and go up there, and it doesn't matter where you're from and all that. You can go wait in line and go get stuff at MSRP there.
And remember,
and another thing is, like Georgia, which I love, like what I call allocation time, which is like now through January in Georgia. A lot of the liquor stores, they save up all their allocation stuff, and they'll come right, like starting around Black Friday, right after Thanksgiving there, all the way to about mid-December. On the weekends, you can go to those liquor stores there in Georgia, and they'll have their one-day lottery, and you go in and buy it.
Extravaganza. Yeah, he's called me from those before. There's food.
Yeah, you go wait in line, and you start getting in line like at overnight and all that, because I mean they'll have everything from birthday bourbons to George T. Staggs to the Pappy, 15-year. I have not ever seen a 20 or 23-year, but I've seen all the way up to a 15-year, and 12-year and a 10-year. All the way in there to the George T. Stagg, all the BTAC stuff in there, the birthday bourbons and all that. And I've been able to pick up several of those, over the years by doing that. And they'll turn it into an all-day event where they'll have barbecues and all that, give away free food. They'll come out there early in the morning and give you coffee and donuts for the people that stayed overnight and stuff. I mean, it's cool. and everybody gets together all night long at those things. And I mean, we'll sit there and share pours and stuff like that, and just bullshit and stories and things like that, and just it just turns into pretty cool events.
Well, and here up in Ohio, and Derrick we were talking a little bit before, in his situation that he's in, he is in a lot of bourbon lines because the allocations get dumped throughout this part of Ohio, different days for different liquor stores while they're delivering. So when you have the right connections, you pretty much, the first Monday that hits, what's hitting across the state, because not only does it get Columbus Post and Cleveland Post and everything, but you're at your place and you got your guys that But then throughout the rest of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Saturdays at Giant Eagle, when Giant Eagle releases, they all get something different.
Yeah.
And Derrick is you've met Derrick Nash at Top Shelf before.
I remember now,
Yes.
I remember that. Yeah,
we were waiting in line. I think that the Russell's 13 day.
I remember
that last when he was up. Yes,
Aaron mentioned that earlier to me. That he says last time he seen you was at Top Shelf. I said I remember I remember you now. So we
I remember you. I remember meeting you that day.
Yeah. Good to see you again. But we have a good time at Top Shelf on Friday. We try to have a good time. Remember, we try to be respectful. We try to first, the one thing I never understood about the attitudes from some of the employees at places I won't name, but everybody in line is there to spend money. We're spending money. I mean, I walked out of Top Shelf with $1,000 bottle. I walked out of Top Shelf with a $400 bottle. So we're, not just me, but other people. We're there to spend money. I've never understood the resentment. This is one store we go to on Wednesdays, and man, they were just so nasty toward the bourbon people. Like we weren't there buying eggs and bread and milk. $15. We put some serious money into your coffer, and I just never understood it. I mean, it's gotten a lot better.
But you got to remember, okay? So the people that get the most upset are the people who used to walk into the store in 2012 and 2010 when this really hadn't gone to where it was, and they could have their pick. They remember when Pappy was on the shelf. You could just walk in and grab a Pappy. They remember all this, and it wasn't hard. Okay, there was no work. It was like you walk in, you pick what you want, you go out, you could do. And then as bourbon exploded and everybody wanted it, and they had to rationalize it or ration it because of the fact that certain people were getting it all. Someone would walk in and buy it all, and then the secondary market in about 2015-16 on Facebook was so insane, and they actually had to crack down on Facebook for how much selling of alcohol was going on and eliminate whole groups, because they would just buy it all up and then sell it for 5 times as much, and that was the start of it. And then when we live in a state where the state cares and they're trying to get it to the people, so they started limiting one per person at per store per day, right? And where he is in Georgia and South Carolina, those liquor stores don't have to have a limit. The only limit they're doing is based off their market, right? I mean, there's a lot of times he'll walk in and they'll have 2 bottles of something that he discovered, 2 bottles of Booker's, and he can talk them into some stores. He can talk them out of both bottles, and then other stores. But there's no limit like what the state's doing. Right. You know what I mean? That control to try and get it to the people, this state is doing, and they're doing a really good job, I think.
I think they're doing a great job. I don't knock the system. I don't mind that 1 bottle. But the point I was coming from was the attitude
of the employees of some of the employees
towards the bourbon. I've had one lady she said she couldn't stand the bourbon group.
Yeah, because she was getting the bourbon for her people, and these people would just call up ahead. It never had to hit the shelf, and she would be able to either, and I'm not saying everybody did this,
No.
but they could make a buck. Like they'd sell it to their friend, and the friend would give them $20, or they'd sell it to this guy, and he'd give them $40, and they would be able to do that. And it was all behind when the state started making them put it out there, and they couldn't give it to their friends, and they had to do what they were no longer. Those employees were irritated. I mean, the thing that happened at Fisher's, what was it, about a year ago? That big fight, the state had to come down and distribute. I think it was over. It was Stag. It was when the first release of Stag. Now, when we went from Stag Junior, they had held back, and everybody had online how many they had, and they said they had none. And there was a big fight and everything. And then the actual state employees had to come down, and they sold all the cases they had back for all their people. Now, I'm not saying that happens everywhere, but that was where that resentment comes in, that the breaking of the old boy network by the state getting involved to make this fair for everybody. But no matter what, there's someone out there bitching that they're just mad that there's no way that they're going to wait in line. Well, and then, I'm always like, the secondary market is the secondary market. You're not paying the guy, you're paying MSRP for the bourbon. What you're paying on secondary is how much do you want to pay somebody to get in line, or like in Kentucky, where it's a problem, is those flippers, those secondary market flippers send out 40, 50 people to the distilleries to get their one bottle because it's a limited release. They all give it back, and when they bring the bottle back, they give them $30 for standing in line, or 40. Some of those local people make money. They're there. They're at all the distilleries. They get maybe $120 a day by standing in line at 4 different distilleries, and they get them their bottles so that they can go sell them for, at Buffalo Trace, there's a guy that basically from the parking lot he would get the Blantons and the Taylor and all that, and he would just basically.
It'd be so bad that they found out, and this is where the driver's license came into play back about 3 or 4 years ago at the distilleries, that there were actual flippers picking up like homeless people and stuff like that, and going and getting them to stand in line and paying them, $20 and $30 just to stand in line. Hey, go stand in line. We're going to let you purchase this bottle, and standing there with a credit card with them and purchasing the bottle. And then that's when they figured it out. And then there was like, oh, whoa. We're going to have to stop this. Now everybody's going to have a driver's license, one per driver's license every, like 90 days. And so that's how they cut all that out.
And now when you go down there, everybody gets some. Did you ever notice it used to be that the line it would be open at 9 o'clock, and then by 10 o'clock, everything would be gone. But now you go there, and if you go later in the day, 2, 3 o'clock, you might get a bottle of Blanton's, or you might get, and it's because those people can't buy over and over and over. It's got to be a separate license. And then you realize how much bourbon they were actually buying, Man. It's just the craziness, right?
Yeah, it's the market.
They're trying to get it figured out. They still haven't got all the bugs worked out,
And they never probably will. I mean,
exactly.
It's a game.
Exactly.
When I got caught one time, I was 2 days off. I just had my days mixed up, and I get up there and I put my bottle of Blanton's up there, and they come up and said, nah, and I was like, oh man, I felt like a perp walk. I was like, I gotta they said, no, we'll put it back. I was like, just lost track of time. Had to look at my camera, my phone, my gallery. It was like, got my days mixed up. I was like, are you serious?
Well, we went down to see Harlan, right? That bottle right behind there.
Harlan
Wheatley.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing the podcast. And we had been down there 2 months before, and I bought a Taylor. That's what it was, right? And it was Blanton's that day. And I'm like, awesome. So I'll get a Blanton's. They told me I was in Blanton's jail. And I'm like, no, I'm not. So I went and they checked. They actually were able to check what I bought that day. And they had Taylor and the Blanton's. And I'm like, what day do you have Taylor and Blanton's ever? I said, I got the Taylor. I told you I got the Taylor.
Yeah,
you see it's there. So they let me get the bottle. That's and then cool. He signed it. So cool. That was cool, right? right, Super Nash?
No, we have a good
Yep.
time.
No, I wasn't there.
Oh, that's true.
Remember?
You were getting married.
I was getting married
That
in
was the
Colorado.
only. He had an
Yeah.
excuse not to
Yeah.
be on that podcast.
No,
Yeah.
the chase is great, man, because I've been in line and it just happened to me last Friday before Roses came out, and I was the next person up. I missed it, and that's cool. I tell some people get really frustrated with that, but I'm like, yeah, because you know what, the bourbon gods smile on you. I've gotten bottles I probably shouldn't have got, so it evens out. If you be patient, you can get a lot of things. But as far as knowing what's coming, they got their Reddit, and my buddy Aaron, he'll read that and he'll be like, hey, this is what's dropping. So you get a sense of what's dropping. And you can, if you miss it one day, you work in, you can get it.
You're gonna get it eventually.
Yeah,
right?
you're gonna get it.
I mean, bourbon comes to you. I've missed so many bottles by one
It
or
don't look
whatever.
like it.
But it comes to you.
Yeah.
There's always going to be another bottle. It's like, and I can't, obviously, as you said, it doesn't look like it. I can't drink all this,
No.
but what I get, I'm happy to get. And then also it means someone else got it. And then what is the biggest, what is the nicest?
He's had a lot of help with that too.
Yeah, he helps me get it. I mean, if I don't get it and I really want it, we've actually
Also
decided.
too, when I came up a few years ago, and I showed Jeff, and I told him, I said, you don't ever go wait in line and stuff like that? He says, what do you mean? I said, well, come on. I said, you got some places around here. What time do they open up? Let's go wait in line. So I showed him. I said, it's not just about, whether you get a good bottle or not, but it's about the people that you meet, while you're sitting out there waiting and talking. And then as we started this podcast, and now it's turned into him handing out cards and networking and talking and meeting some good people.
Yeah. People like Derrick. I mean, me and Derrick have seen each other around for a couple of times, but as the more we kind of talked, on those mornings, you get to know somebody. And I definitely, I love the way you do the bourbon thing. I've seen you at Top Shelf. I've seen you at Lakes, coming in at Lakes. The people. I mean, that's what you're in this for, right? The friendship and
the camaraderie is great, man. I mean, you just really meet some different walks, and you meet people that, in a normal setting, you probably you just pass through. But this bourbon thing just allowed us to connect in a way you never thought you would connect. And so I think you make some lifelong friends. The relationships are wonderful. Aaron had a party at his house. Stacy's had a party at her house. And, you just get to, at the end of the day, we all got the same issues, whether it's kids or your spouse.
Life.
That's what you find out. So over a nice pour of bourbon, you can vent. And
and relax at the same time.
Yeah.
Relax and just and just enjoy and just take a little time out and just and spend it with some friends that you've met.
So
and that's what it's all about.
Speaking of friends, Mark David, your guy, he said Melissa wants to ask you about Trinidad.
So Sam. What's that? Cannoli, I think his last name is. And he's been at Colorado, and he was telling us about Trinidad. And so Trinidad is known as the sex change capital of the world. So if you're ever in Trinidad, he said they have this store. You can go in there and pick out what you want. They got them all. Size, shape, whatever. Color, whatever. And so if you ever get to Trinidad, Nash, go to that sex change store. And you pick what you want, man, in case you're interested.
Okay.
All right, Melissa, I answered your question. Sam, that was Sam. But the funny story about that is Montana is part of our group, and he was stationed out there, and he said, "Oh, I love Trinidad." Now he never knew that Sam told us about Trinidad. He said, "Oh, I went camping in Trinidad." And everybody's just looking at Montana like, "Really?"
Really? Oh, you do?
Yeah, he said, "Man, I had my tent set up. I was, and he was wondering why everybody was like, and then when we told him the story, he was like, no, wait a minute. No. I just went camping.
Just went camping, right.
Hey,
Mark
back
says
this
we
truck up
love
a
you.
minute. That's
Well, that's
so
a good
cool.
one. Let's get the actual podcast started.
Okay.
For the audio. That was great for everybody on YouTube. Good amount of people watching tonight on Facebook. Thanks for
Absolutely.
everybody
Hey,
watching. Good comments. I think you brought some people. Some of your friends are
Well, I'm glad they
getting on
came
this
in.
one. Yep, for sure. So the way that this will work is we're gonna. I'll hit record. There's a
Okay.
30-second spot that I can hear in the microphone. Okay. Not the microphone, in the headphones. And then I'm going to play our theme song, which you'll be able to hear. And once that is, we're now recording on all the formats. All right. So that's where we're going to go. So I'm going to get that 30-second spot going right now. Let's go.
What world tour is that, Nash?
it was the Motley Crue,
Okay.
Motley Crue, Def Leppard.
You like them better than Led Zeppelin?
Not really,
Okay.
but I just saw them. Happened to see him down here with Jeff.
Oh, okay.
Jeff, here a couple of months ago, flew up to Ohio with Chris and Jeff.
Yeah, we saw them and Def Leppard.
I had seen Motley Crue. Grew up with Motley Crue and Def Leppard. Right there around the 80s. So had to check them out one time. And trust me, Derrick, Motley Crue wasn't nothing like what they used to be.
All right. Welcome back to another podcast of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Hold on. I got it. There we go. All right. Oh, it just decided to start right back on. There, I got it. I'm Tiny.
Wouldn't be the Scotchy Bourbon Boys without technical difficulties.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm Tiny. This year's Super Nash. Welcome, Super Nash. And tonight we have our special guest, Derrick Brandon. He's our local bourbon guy.
Welcome, Derrick.
Well, thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
We've been having a blast so far, but remember www.Scotchy Bourbon Boys for all Scotchy Bourbon Boys things. We have Crystal Glencairns. We've got t-shirts. We've got bourbon balls, and then we're also on all the podcast formats. Apple. We're on Spotify, iHeart,
Bourbon Boys t-shirts,
Amazon. It's all over. And then remember to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and X. So I got through that pretty good, didn't I?
What about iHeart?
Oh, we're on iHeart as far as the audio. Yes,
okay.
We're there. If when you listen to us, wherever you listen, we're on pretty much all of them. Okay. So Deezer, we're Twitch. I mean, there's so many different ones, but yeah. But we're starting, and it's been great, and we're just going to keep rolling because we were on Facebook Live, we're on YouTube Live, and we've just been talking tonight. We're talking about the local bourbon aspect of groups getting together, enjoying good bourbon, how we go about getting the bourbon, what we do and experience, different markets, that all over the place. And we've just been talking about that, and I think we're going to keep talking about it. But one of the things I think we should talk about to start off is Kentucky, because we're in Ohio, you're in South Carolina, and everybody knows when you're talking about bourbon, there's a lot of good things happening in the United States, but that Kentucky draw as a bourbon drinker is just so strong, and those experiences when you go down there, that you get, whether it's local liquor stores, dealing. I mean, us being in Ohio, there's no dealing. You know what I mean? It's waiting in line and you get it's the price, right?
Yes.
But when you go to Kentucky, as Super Nash will talk about, there'll be something up there, and also whiskey, our other guy, they go down there and there's a certain amount of dealing. If you buy 2 bottles, they'll give it to you for this amount less, that kind of thing, and that's all part of it, right?
Yeah, that's one thing that I have found over the last couple of years, that there are more and more whiskey places in Kentucky that they're willing to wheel and deal with bottles that they can't get for bottles that you want. You just got to be willing to talk with the owners and the people that run it, and just express to them what you're looking for, what you want, and just let them know, because that might not always be sitting up there on the shelf. They might have it behind the counter. They might have it in the back room, and then too, just talk with them, let them know what you're willing to give or willing to trade if you've got something to trade in your car. Because there's been a couple of times where I picked up a couple of bottles at one distillery, and then went down the road and pulled into the liquor store, and they weren't able to get it, and they had a bottle that I wanted, and I turned around and traded in the 2 bottles that I just picked up for the 1 bottle that I wanted. And that was a couple of years ago.
I was at Buffalo Trace, and I had some red in my trunk. And I was taking my E.H. Taylor and putting it in the trunk. And when I opened up my trunk, guy walked by. He's like, "What you selling that Weller Red?" And I was like, "I wasn't, but I'm listening. I'm always gonna listen." And he goes, "I had 3 bottles." I said, "I tell you what, I'll sell you one, because they can't get it down there like that." And it's crazy. I was just opening my trunk. So after that, I take Weller Red with me all the time, and I pop my trunk wherever I go. Just make sure.
There you go.
See that? So I told a buddy, he went to, you might know Jeremy, he's a fisherman. But anyway, he went to San Francisco, and he took like 3 bottles. And he was at this liquor store, and he sold the bottles, $200. And he was just like, wow, ecstatic. He goes in the liquor store, they're selling Weller Red in there for $500. The store owner said, "Man, I would have gave you $300 for him." So now you take that high. He's high, $200. He's feeling good. And you bring it down because he could have got $300. He goes in there and sees it for $500. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's totly crazy when it comes to, and then the tradability of that green and that red, So he's tasting our barrel pick, Nash. If you want to grab it, the William Dalton.
Dalton?
Corn,
yeah. I'll grab that just a second. And that's what I wanted to get at. That's like here in South Carolina. See, they can't get the green, they can't get the red. So the green goes for anywhere from $80 to $125 a bottle down here.
Yeah, the green.
And then the red goes anywhere from $150 to $225. And I was like, holy crap! So every time when Jeff mentions to me, well, I could get, yes, when he gets the words I can get, my words is already yes. I'll take it.
Well,
I'll take it.
It's like, the value of green has gone down on trade. I'm not a bit, but getting him the green, it really hasn't gone down. It's gone down here,
right? Because
there's so much, but there, it's still got the value. So he worked out a deal with me for the newest Russell's 13. So I'm just buying, it was one a day. I just went there. I took her a couple times to get 2, but there was so much green here. I've got enough. So, and that's kind of what's great about it for us, is that I'm not selling it. I'm just trading it for a Russell's 13 on, you know, the dollar value of what he had to get it for the dollar value of the. I mean, it's such a special reserve is such I call it a mind fuck. Really, it is because
Just so you know, Joe,
yeah.
I just want to just to let you know, this is how many of the green that I want now.
21.
12.
No, let's put it this way.
12.
Yeah. That's how many I want to come back with.
I want you to have that many.
You'll have that.
But it's got to hit again. It hasn't hit in a while. Yeah. And we are going to be dealing up here. We got to talk about the local. But we're dealing with Single Barrel Saturday coming up.
When's that coming up?
It's going to be over multiple, and there's going to be a Single Barrel Friday too. It's over 3 weeks, and it's going to culminate with the Saturday you're here, Nash. We're going to hit Single Barrel Saturday and then head to Springfield for your thing, and then to Kentucky. That's what's going to happen. Also, Derrick, I want to let you know on Friday, December 15th, if you're able to, you can bring your friends. We're going to be at Gervasi for the Scotchy Bourbon Boys Christmas party. Oh. And we've got a small room reserved where we kind of get some more, we purchase some hors d'oeuvres for everybody. But basically, because we visit there so much, get decent prices on pours. They got if you've ever been at the Still House, they got the cigar place. We're going to be smoking cigars. We're going to be drinking. Last year, they had a Single Barrel Taylor, and I think we drank it all. They popped it, and it was gone at the end. So between all of us, so they got some good pours. And it starts out here. The party starts at 7 o'clock at Gervasi, but at 6 o'clock, I'm inviting everybody here for drain some of my whiskey pours before we go.
And you know
please come drain my whiskey.
You can do the northeast side of Canton, and you still have a lot left.
Oh yeah,
he got a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, he has a lot of liquor here.
Yeah, and
tell them about the liquor you let me taste before everything started.
Well, the Bookers that I had.
Check this out here.
It's right out here, but that's the Bookers right back here, and it is the C. I'll show everybody. I'll put this right here, but it is I want to say C-07-01-7. So it's this particular bottle right here. And this particular bottle was purchased and gotten to do a toast at Bourbon on the Banks at the Frankfurt Bourbon Society last year. Super Nash opened that. We had a reel for that, and we all did it. But
that's the one that I brought up for. I thought I brought that one up for. I brought that one up for the Kentucky Bourbon Festival this year. That's one of the 3 bottles that I was able to find at this year in the.
No, this is this one. This one I never. This is the one that you did and gave me to take home and shoved it in the trunk. Remember, you had it in the trunk and you just gave it to me the next day. Okay. That's this one. Because this one, when I pulled the cork out, I broke the cork. I'm going to have to decanter it, get the cork, and put a new cork on it. This is not the one that you had. The other one, that one, I actually didn't leave with. I did not bring that home.
Didn't bring that one home?
No, but, if you want to bring it up with you, feel free.
Well, because I told you I got 3 of them, and I'm pretty sure you did, because I told you I got a full one that I was going to give you.
Yeah, I do not have.
But I'm sending it. I'm sending a full one up for Christmas.
Yeah, I
when
don't
are you
have
coming
a full
up, Super Nash?
Wait a second. You're going to give
December 14th.
Yeah, he comes up the Thursday, December 14th. And then Friday, December 15th is the party, but we usually do our Bourbon of the Year podcast, and I take off that day. So we start at 11 with the holiday podcast, which usually features bookers, all 4 bookers, and then we do Then we go and do lunch. Then we do a
fly in about podcast about 9:15 Thursday morning.
Yeah, he gets in. So I'm going to be working. So if you want to, where are you going to be on Thursday morning? Is there anybody where's the release of that?
That's usually Leprechaun.
Oh, Leprechaun.
But you know what? That's hit or miss. So I can miss that day. That's no biggie.
Yeah.
This bourbon hunting is it's a job. It can turn into a job. It's been times where I was going to
I
Kentucky
want to
once a
drive
week.
and hit that one with you.
Leprechaun?
Yeah, from the airport.
What about Silver Spirits? When do they hit?
They hit on Wednesdays, but
That's a butt hurt.
I don't do Silver Spirits.
They are serious. There's some serious shit that goes down. That's you
my
got to be in a
God.
different. That's a different level place.
Yeah, that's one of the. You know what? This is how I look at it. They got their way they do things. They got their favorites. They're trying to play a game, and I just don't have to spend any money there because, my little bit of money is not going to hurt them. But it's a power trip.
Yeah, they play the game.
Yeah, it's a power trip.
They play the game the way the state has been trying to eliminate the game being played.
Yeah.
But they play that fucking game so fucking well. I respect them on how well, because you even walk in there on their shelves and they're stocked with shit that half the liquor stores in the state of Ohio don't have, and they didn't even get, and they've got it there. And it's not like
$500.
Yeah, but I mean they've got stuff there that you don't see anywhere else, but they're good at it. But you still have to know to really get it. You got to be in the know.
Yeah.
And if you're not in the know, I remember I was talking to Rick at Washington Square, and he's like, he figured out the computer 2 years ago, and it was Little Book Chapter 5, and basically the whole shipment of Little Book up from Jim Beam for the state of Ohio went to Silver Spirit. They got the whole damn shipment. He figured it out.
Jump in here right quick.
Yeah.
Aaron Casanova says, love Gervasi, and he says, I'm in it.
All right.
So, Derrick.
Welcome, Aaron.
Yeah, for sure.
You're going to come on in?
It's going to be a party.
Yeah, he's a Gervasi's fan. Where I went to high school with, she's a chef there. So I've had some good stuff over there. But, you got to take the good with the bad in this bourbon hunting. So I don't let it get me down. I don't get too beat up about it. For every store like that, you got a store like Top Shelf in Giant Eagle, Washington. Now, if you go in there, Rick he'll tell you what's going on.
He's not trying to scam nobody. He's trying to be as fair as possible.
Yeah.
And on Saturdays they've had some kind of stuff, but overall we've been really between me, you, and a couple other guys, we keep everybody under control, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I tell you what, man, if you just go in there after you got some sense, everything's going to work out. But you have a few people you might have to pull to the side, talk to. It's like, hey, come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Well, it's funny. One of the guys.
That's like these in Georgia when I go to these extravaganza, giveaways.
Yep.
That the best thing about it is, like I say, if it gets to be 100 to 200 people there, and that's why they'll come in and have somebody smoke a pig all night long and give away free barbecue. And not only that, but then they'll pull out some special bottles, where you might be tasting some Stag, George T. Stag, or some Buffalo Trace antique collections of, Thomas Handy, or maybe a Pappy 12, or then some other people will bring in some special bottles and add to that, some Heaven Hill 15-year, 14-year, something like that, that they'll throw in. And so you'll get, special little pours, little tastings of it along with your barbecue dinner. But then all of a sudden, maybe your number doesn't get drawn up front for all those special allocated bottles, and you're like 75th in line or 80th in line. But they always have a bottle for everybody in line. And the thing about it is these places do a lot of barrel picks, so you might wind up leaving with maybe say, hey, after all that time, or a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours of sitting around there and all that, the food and the pours, you might wind up leaving with a Eagle Rare store pick, or a Buffalo Trace store pick, you know, or E.H. Taylor store pick, you know, because those are the ones that the store picks, or the Four Roses store pick, you know, those are the ones that they'll save for the last after all the allocated stuff, you know, because that's what goes first, you know, because once those first tickets get drawn, you get to go in there and make your choice, right? Of all those allocated bottles. Well, once all that stuff's gone, then all the other people that's left, then those tickets start getting drawn. Well, you'll wind up going out of there with a barrel pick. So what, you know?
Can't beat that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that's still pretty good at
so.
MSRP.
Except especially if that barrel picks a Weller foolproof. And that one year, if you remember, it was single barrel Taylor and single barrel Weller.
Last year when I went over to Georgia, I came home with two Blanton store picks from over there, wow. 2 Weller foolproof store picks, and I missed out on all the other stuff, but 2 Weller foolproof store picks, 2 Blanton store picks, then a Four Roses store pick. I came home with 8 different bottles.
His bourbon collection is insane, and what's really effed up about it, okay? See that closet right to his right?
It's full of bourbon.
Oh, it's full of bourbon, but it's a deep closet. So he's got it on that top shelf. He'll get up just like this, and he needs a step stool, and he's like digging back there, and he's like, I got Bland's Gold. Wait, where did this Bland straight from the barrels come? I mean, but that's one closet, but there's like 2 other rooms with another 4 closets. I mean, his E.H. Taylor closet is insane. I think that's your
if you look down there,
look at there, you can see on the bottom
third shelf, on the third shelf down there below my finger.
Yeah, I see it.
That whole shelf is nothing but E.H. Taylor, straight rye, single barrel, and small batch.
Yeah.
And the barrel proof is in another room.
Yeah, the barrel proof, and he's not even saying the one that you know, it's the one. I've gone to his house, and every time I'm going to go
4 grain.
It's the 4 grain. I mean, I've drank 4 grain 3 times in my life, and all 3 of them. One was he sent a sample up when I didn't even know what I was drinking at the time. I was so new to this. And then when we went down there, I think we drank the 4 grain. He did a fresh bottle open, and I think we drank a third of that bottle, the 2 of us. I mean, I got my fill of what 4 grain tastes like. And it's
how is it?
Oh my God.
I need a sample of that, man.
Yeah,
I sent him up a sample for him to go to the Packers game. Remember the E.H. Taylor 4 grain that you went to the Packers game with?
Yep. And then you sent me, and then also his Christmas that year was Stag Junior.
14.
It was
the E.H. Stag Junior. It was George T. Stag, the E.H. Taylor barrel proof. And the Michter's toasted
Now, the
barrel.
George T. Stag he brought up, just so you know, it's a full disclosure, it was only a half a bottle. But it was a half a bottle of deliciousness, right? That actually went up against the Little Book for the bourbon of the year. That in Little Book wasn't a bourbon, but it was COVID, and we were like, fuck it. Little Book won because it went up against George, but it still tasted better. And we're like, well, if they can have COVID, we can put a non-bourbon blend, up for a bourbon of the year. So that ended up. Cool. That's how it went. But so we've got Square 6. Do you got Square 6 from
Evan Williams?
Yes, I do.
But you got it open, so you should grab it because we're gonna taste that first. Or don't you know?
Let me go grab it.
Okay, yeah, you can grab it.
Hey, Aaron, we about to do Square 6, man. So.
No. That's a new glass. This is our tasting glass. We're gonna put this.
Okay.
So now, I think the reason why I love Square 6.
Here we go.
Is we're drinking it in the Scotchy Bourbon Boys Glencairns. We're doing some tasting now. The reason why I love Square 6, I have this, and I bought one to put up because the Evan Williams experience when you go there. It's in Louisville. It is, in my opinion, probably in the top 3 bourbon experiences there are. And it's unique in its way of how it explains how bourbon's made and the whole experience. It's not the same experience you get at a big distillery
No.
where you get to see how it's made, the gritty one.
Right.
This is a whole different level of museum type. They explain what happened to Evan Williams. They explain the Kentucky River that Louisville sits on, why that Louisville is there, because of the fact that this is where they took the boats out to get through the rapids and the falls, and they put the stuff back on the river on the other side. So there was a harbor master, who Evan Williams, he was in charge of that. And he was distilling, and he basically bribed everybody with bourbon.
Oh, he got
everything. The bourbon they were like, yeah, we'll vote on that as long as. So Aaron says, definitely impressed when you cracked the bottle of Square Six. Yeah,
he was at my house, and I had came from Evan Williams' experience, and I was blown away. I almost put you in. It's a period piece.
Yeah.
It's definitely a period because you got to knock on the door. You got to get a password.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did mine, I was fortunate enough. Nobody else booked. So I got to sit there and drink and talk to the guy. And like you said, explain a lot of history. So anyway, me and Aaron were sitting in my little office where I keep my bourbon room. And we cracked this Square Six. And we were like, wow. This is the thing I like about a bourbon. Make me stop in my tracks and look at the glass and go, wait a minute. There's something different about that.
Yep.
Something special.
And so they've got that pot still there. And this is very similar to pot stilled stuff that Bishop's doing in Indiana. Pot stilled bourbon is very different than column stilled bourbon. There's a fruity note mixed with it, And there's a certain amount of stuff that happens in Kentucky with the barrel when you do pot still, and you get it opposed to in Indiana, and you age it there. And what happens at French Lick is they actually age it in a controlled environment. It's inside, and they control the environment. But if you pot still properly, because it's column still is a whole different ballgame, continuously, always running. It's not, there's no batches. Pot still is start, finish. There's hearts, heads, tails. That's how they make Scotch. That's how they make Irish whiskey.
Yeah.
That's how they make Woodford Reserve, giant pot stills. But the continuous thing of a column still changes everything, because now the heads and tails are completely dealt with differently, and how they do their back set opposed to a column still where you take it and you put it into the next batch, of fermentation, and then it makes it taste the same. Whereas on column stills, you're just dropping it constantly, pulling it. It never stops. So it's just all running together, and you're trying to. So the runs are the runs, you know what I mean? And like, for instance, Jim Beam, those runs are massive. They never stop. It's like a fire hydrant going. You've been there, right? To the Jim Beam, and you look at how it's coming out. It comes out like no other place that you've ever seen. I've been to you at Limestone Branch. It's a trickle. Some places it's like you turn the faucet on full blast. Other times it's a fire hose full blast. But the freaking fire hydrant is what happens at Jim Beam. So there's a lot of stuff that they got, how they deal with those other aspects of what's in the distilling process. The negative stuff is all dealt with differently at Heaven Hill. It's dealt with Jim Beam. But when you get into pot still, you basically, that run, you're a good distiller. You basically have it all gone. It's right there. The heads are right there. You wait. As soon as you know that the hearts are going, then you start collecting the bourbon. And then the tails, you can leave as much as you want in there because it's not bad for you. It's just a little bitter.
Right.
Then how you age it, with column stilling, you age it in Kentucky. You put it in the barrel for a while because you're using that charcoal filter to take out some of the impurities that happen during massive column still distilling. It basically takes them out. It goes in and out, and it takes it out. Whereas if you pot still and you don't leave a lot of those impurities in there, or very few of the impurities, you don't need the barrels to do it. You just know when it's ready. And this is a pot still that they've got there at the Evan Williams there.
Bourbon Experience.
Yeah, and this was the
And,
Square Six is their first. They were making a barrel a day for 5-6 years before they finally put out their first one. And
I tell you what,
actually, and I talked with Jody Filatro, which is the master distiller there, a little bit while we were at Kentucky Bourbon
yeah, we have
Festival.
to have them on because they want to come
And
on.
I definitely want to get him on. And he's actually doing a tasting and signing down in Kentucky here, I believe this week or weekend, and all. But and that's what popped him back up into my head. But definitely got to get Jody on, and he said he's willing and wanting to come on and talk with us, and be a good time to have him on.
Yeah, because I enjoyed. You picked me up the first Square Six. Thank you very much. I opened it like I do, and then when I went there the last time, I picked one because it still was part of batch one. They didn't sell batch one at the level that you thought they would, because when it was like about 6 months later, still was batch one of Square Six. So I got that and I'm going to put that one up, but I've got mine open. You have it. I'm getting like, it's really kind of cool because speaking of fruitiness, but after sitting in your mouth for a little bit and talking, I'm getting like a grapey, like I could taste grapes, like a like a wine, a sweeter red grape. It's right there, like a Welch's grape. It's so unique in how you taste. The different things that you
now
taste.
see, that's where you're more experienced than me. In our group, we have Hunter. That's Hunter's job. Hunter's the one that can tell you he smells Fig Newton or he tastes Fig Newton or Fig pudding.
See, I'm getting more of that maltiness.
I get
the malt comes through.
The maltiness is on
the malt.
Through.
Yes, it does, and I get it, and I'm getting, but then it goes to like Welch's, not quite grape juice, but there's that aspect that happens afterwards. That's happening to me right now. Now CT, who did
and a tartness, but I can't quite put my finger on the fruit.
And that's
I'm not sure if it's grape or not.
That's the next level I want to get to with the bourbon. I want to be able to say, you know what, I taste pine nuts or whatever. I'm not there yet. I can pick out a few things, but I'm not where you are, Tiny, or where my buddy Hunter is. I'm not there yet, and that's good because that gives me some growth.
Well, it's
definitely not there. I'm working on it.
Well,
I work on it every time I taste something.
Yeah, it's like one, you have to know what the flavors are. So there's an aroma kit that we have that I smell all the time to smell the flavors of bourbon, smell the negative flavors that can be in there, smell so the smell is like 90% of everything, but then as far as tasting, you pick up stuff. But I always, like, I have times where I taste a lot of chocolate, and then there's other times I taste a lot of this. So your palate evolves to be able to taste different things as you keep going. There's no doubt about it. But like CT, who he was going to be on tonight, but they went to Louisville and Kentucky.
You go, Derrick.
That's it right
this
there.
right here, what help us kickstart all our nosing and tasting experience right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
that's a nosing kit right there that we got from the executive bourbon stewardship that we went to at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky.
We did our first bourbon steward at Wilderness Trail. We did that together, and then 2 years ago from Kentucky Bourbon Festival, we went, and it was really kind of a cool experience because we're there. And there was a blind tasting all day. They take you they got us working still. They have you grind the grains. They set up a fermentation. They take the fermentation and they cook what you're doing. They take the fermentation and they put it in the still. Then they start distilling all in the day, right?
Okay.
But then you get to do like a blind tasting, and I'm there with Nash, and everybody. We start tasting, and I'm tasting bananas, and I'm tasting different different proofs, and he asked a question, and
Yeah, it just happens to be that the sample that we were tasting was Old Forester.
Yeah, it was all of them. There were different expressions of Old Forester, but I blurted out Old Forester 100 on that one, and it was. I mean, on the blind tasting, they didn't tell you it was Old Forester, and then it didn't tell you the proof. And I'm like, I'm thinking 1910, 1920, and Old Forester 100. So I blurted out, and he goes, "Did I ask you?"
Oh,
And when it came down, it was straight.
Hold your horses there.
Yeah.
He's like,
It
hold
was,
your
it
horses
was
there,
straight
big
across.
guy.
It was like I impressed everybody that I
Slow
was able
down,
to
just
pull
a
it
minute.
out. It was kind of
Don't
cool.
get ahead of the class.
But anyways, then you get a.
He basically spanked
fun.
him right in front of the whole
I mean, it's
class.
something that you guys should go down and do, because then you get a pin, a pin, and you get a coin. And the coin, anybody who's part of the executive, if you show the guy your coin,
and you don't have
they have to, and they don't have it, they have to buy you a
Gotta
drink.
buy the round.
So
it
that's
goes like that with cigars too.
yeah.
Rocky Patel does that.
Oh, I just
Yeah.
Did you see when I was at? I did have a Rocky Patel at Gervasi the other night, and I gave I it was a fantastic cigar. But what I'm finding is, and you're a cigar guy,
I'm a big cigar
so I really got the experience at Bourbon on the Banks with Super Nash, Stephen Fonte, Kobe. It's Kobee. That's the cigar distributor that they're hooked up with. He brought over cigars. Stephen Fonte, who is the brand representative for Yellowstone. He
Stone Branch,
promotes
yeah.
it Limestone.
Limestone Branch.
Yeah, distillery, and then also Yellowstone with Stephen Beam. He works there. He's got the big mustache. He talks with the Southern accent. So he brought a single barrel, which is his favorite single barrel of all time. He brings it over, and he brings us cigars. So we're sitting there smoking a cigar with him and drinking his favorite single barrel pick. And I'm like taking this in the single barrel sweet, and we're talking between the five of us and him, we took the bottle down 7/8 on the pot in 30 minutes.
That's a good day.
Everybody was doing, and we were enjoying the cigar, and it was just like perfect. So Whiskey comes home, and he went over afterwards, and he really loved that bottle, right? So he buys it. He goes home, and he's only bought one single barrel at Liquor Barn 2 years ago ever before, and it's the exact same single barrel that he had. So he's got two of them from 2 years apart that he bought from Steven at the. Now I don't know if Steven was just blowing smoke or has to sell a single barrel that he had bottles left, or that's what it was, but it was damn good. I mean, like you said, I think a cigar, to some extent, if you really know how to appreciate a cigar, makes a really good bourbon. It adds sweetness to the bourbon, right?
I think so.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's
and also Aaron said he was definitely impressed when you cracked that bottle of Square Six.
Oh yeah, man. We went up. He was like, he kept saying this right here. So that's what I'm saying. A good bourbon that make you stop, like a pretty woman, right? Make you stop and take notice, right? You'll be like, whoa, wait a minute, something about bourbon. Same with bourbon. When you put it in your mouth, you're like, whoa, this is different. To each his own. That's the beauty of it. Some people like Michner's 10, some people hate it. But if you think that's the best thing going, nobody can tell you anything different.
Well, but that's what it's about. Some people like lobster, and some people like steak. Some people like both. Some people like one or the other.
True.
It's taste, and you're not a piece. That's what I hated about when I got into this, and it's not as bad now. But somehow you were a piece of shit if you like Basil Hayden. It's like you're not a piece of shit if you like Basil. If you like Basil Hayden, drink the motherfucking shit out of it and love the fact that you know, and how many young people do you know that get into it? An 80 proof whiskey is strong to them and it burns their palate. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you got to get them built up. And that, that's something that people have to get to.
See, this whole thing about bourbon is education, right? So me and my buddy Aaron, we did a fundraiser this summer for the Eric Snow YMCA. We had
Eric Snow.
Yes, we had about 30, 35 bourbons. So this is what I did. You get a kick out of this, Nash. We had 2 bottles of blends. My bottle was filled with H&H 10 Star. Aaron's bottle was filled with blends. Okay. My bottle went first. Can I get some more blends? I had H&H 10 Star in there. And they were just like, no, give me that bottle of blends.
Yep.
You know.
Oh, wow.
And that's all they knew. But we had 4-Gate up there. We had Booker's 2015. I can't remember. That was 2015. It was the pink label. And they were like, 4-Gate. It was
I could go in there and pull it because I got the 2015s. I got the 2015s all the way up.
And people were coming up saying, I never heard of 4-Gate. I don't know what Booker's is. Oh, give me the H&H 10 Star, which was that was blends. And I tell you, so what happens? I told them people, I said, listen, it was all free. I said, just try something different. And then lady said, I don't like rye. Aaron will tell you, he could comment on this. Had the Willet 4-year rye. Once she got it, she was like, this isn't bad. You just got to try stuff. You got to educate your palate.
Initially, well, the worst rye I've ever tasted was Heaven's Door. And they make damn good bourbon, okay? But it's our number one podcast still to this day. It does 30, 40 downloads a month, and it's 3 years old. And it basically, I referred to it as it tastes like formaldehyde or old man's urine. That's what it tastes like to me, okay? But at the time, Young Nose was here and working with, and he liked it. And that's why we try and stress is like what tastes like shit to someone else doesn't mean it's going to taste like shit to you. Now, there are some things that everybody says that is good, but you try it. If you don't like it, don't drink it. Don't drink something. There's so many bourbons. Drink what you like. And God love you if what you like is Old Tub or an $18.99 or a $20 bottle.
Have you ever had our buddy Mark? He has a Knob Creek 12. It's 124 proof. Have you ever had that one?
No, I've only had the standard. Yeah, I would like to.
Oh my gosh.
Of the 12-year-old leading up, Whiskey loved it. He's got like 14 bottles from last year. I like it. I drank through 2. And if I drink through 2 bottles in a year, it's a good bourbon. But at the same time, I'd love to try it at 124th. Did you know this? This is the crazy thing about marketing. Oh, I've talked with Fred and Freddie know. Basil Hayden is 80 proof. There's a lot of people that when their taste buds need barrel proof, when they taste Basil Hayden, they think it's watery and everything. But there's, it's one of their best selling brands. It sells a lot at 80 proof. And they say they're never going to change it. You want to know why they're never going to change it? Because you want to know what Basil Hayden is at 100 proof and 114 proof?
Old Granddad.
It's Old Granddad.
Yeah.
They're not going to change Basil Hayden because they already are selling it under a different brand, and it's all about proofing down and you do know 114 Old Granddad, people have orgasms over.
Yeah.
I mean, that one, and I'm not going to sit there and say I don't have it and I don't like it because I love it. It's awesome. But it's Basil Hayden at a higher proof. It's all about marketing. Yeah.
One of my dad's favorites.
Yeah. It's all about marketing.
They're selling that for $20 a bottle down there at Uncourt.
Yeah.
At 114.
Yeah.
$20 a bottle.
Yeah. And they sell the 80 proof, which they make from the same juice. They make and they put it in a nicer, cuter bottle, and they sell $39.99 for all and $49.99 for all their finished Basil Hayden.
It's about marketing, and people buy into that stuff.
Well,
if you educate your palate, a little bit, and then you start tasting some of the stuff, then you realize that there are $20 bourbons out there that taste good or better than blends. you know, at
And
$65.
now wait, now I have a bottle of Blanton's here that I will put up against most bourbons that because it's a single barrel. Somehow I got lucky.
You got a honey barrel.
Yeah, and you do. It's a single barrel.
Yeah.
That's how this works. You know,
Yeah.
why the hell do you think they put toppers on? And then not only did they put toppers on, but they put 8 different ones, and then came up with a program that if you collect them all, they'll put them on a barrel stave, put a really nice thing, and send it to you all for free because it's a single barrel, and some are good. As Billy Bob Thornton says, they all can't be winners.
Yeah, the last blends I had was amazing. The previous 5, I wasn't a fan.
Right, and that's exactly it. The same thing. He sent me up my only bottle of E.H. Taylor single barrel. Okay. I missed out on it, whatever, but he sent it up for me. And honestly, I put it up against a Benchmark single barrel that they came out with their special thing. And the Benchmark single barrel, which is the same exact bourbon, just a different age, absolutely kicked that Taylor single barrel's ass. And you know, and it's just that's how this works.
That's kind of like that night up there in Indiana when you were drinking that whole bottle of Old Carter.
So
and you asked me if I wanted any more, and I said hell no. I started drinking your Benchmark single barrel.
And he thought he bought me the whole because we couldn't get the whole collection. He brought me up the whole collection, top shelf, single barrel, foolproof, everything, all 7. There was all up there, right? Yeah. And then he picks up a Kentucky #1 batch of Old Carter on the way up, and he pops it, and it's like we're there, and we're gonna go do some moonshining in Indiana with Alan Bishop on his property the next day, right? And he's like, oh, I got this Old Carter, so he pops it, and I'm like, this is probably the best bourbon I've ever tasted. So he keeps asking me, let's pop some of these Benchmarks. He goes, what do you want? And I'm like, Old Carter. So he's pouring Old Carter. He pours like 3 of them. And then he's like, I'm breaking into your Benchmarks. I'm like, fuck yeah, Old Carter. It's like, drink that Benchmark. And then, so he's having some pours. And all of a sudden he bumps me or we run into each other. And I spill the Old Carter onto the pillow.
I had a pour of my last pour of the Old Carter. He knocked it out of my hand.
I took that pillowcase and I wrung that Old Carter out.
That's when I was like, well, the hell with it. I'm cracking the seal on your single barrel Benchmark.
Yeah,
and that's what I drank. I drank the rest of the night.
Yeah, and then he said, what do you want? And I said, I think I drank about at least half that bottle.
Hey, Nash, let me tell you something real quick. I've been falling in love with the store pick or group picks of George Remus. I've been getting some ones like 124.
No, is it bourbon?
Yes.
Okay.
The George Remus, not the Gatsby, not the Repeal. The George Remus.
I've seen
they've been like 120, 124. I tell you what, I just ordered one off a Unicorn. I just got it. I fell in love with those things, man.
The bottle's beautiful, right? Or is it just got Remus on it?
Just George Remus. Yeah, okay. just you know, the regular one you get off the shelf is 94 proof.
It's out.
All right, I'm opening up since we're doing
that.
Oh, that's cool as shit.
Wow.
All right.
You sending me up some Remus?
No, this actually happens to be a sample for a barrel pick for George Remus that this girl that friend of mine.
Oh,
she owns a liquor store.
Yeah.
Here in Anderson, and they did the barrel pick of it, and this happens to be sitting on her desk when I bought a killer bottle at her store here. I guess probably it's been about 3 months ago. But this was what was left of the samples after they got through.
Wow.
You know.
And she said, "Here, got that sitting there. You bring it, and he's just
she's like, here, just take it." But I've actually got a bottle that they picked when they did the barrel. It's sitting in there on my shelf, and it's a killer honey barrel of the
Yeah,
George
yeah.
Remus.
Can I ask?
It's good.
I got. Do you sleep with that sample? Was that on the bed? Is
No,
that what's going on there?
It was over here on the shelf.
Fuck off! That's insane.
Uh,
And just folks, we did not
There you go.
set that up. We did not
That's
set
it.
that up.
That's the bottle right
that's
there.
the bottle. Okay.
That's the bottle right there.
Yeah,
you liking that?
Oh man, I got a 19.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm sorry, 2020 and a 2022. I love them. And it was
Yeah.
my buddy
I gotta
Tegan.
try that.
He got the Ohio pick, which I have. No, I have a Galveston pick, but anyway, Tegan went through like 3 bottles of it. I said, I have a bottle of that from Galveston, Uncork Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, let me try it. Man, open that thing. Oh my God. And I tell you another one, Galveston. You go to Uncork, don't you?
And where?
Uncork down in Covington.
No.
Never been to Uncork?
No. We always, when we're in Covington, we're usually at Revival.
Okay, yeah, I know. I'm familiar with Revival.
Yeah, Revival is.
You got to go to Uncork, man.
Well, it's hard to go anywhere else but Revival, considering every time we go down there, he's like pouring shit like that. It's just one.
Stitzer Weller.
Oh yeah, Old Fitzgerald. Pappy. Before it was Pappy. I mean, it's insane. 1942.
My gosh.
Old Carter's.
I think Stacy told me about Revival. They had some old stuff.
Oh, that's all they.
She was telling me about.
But
that.
Brad Bonds
I rolled in there.
is like killer.
I rolled in there late, and all of a sudden he's like, "Here, try this. Here, try this." I was trying stuff from the 40s, the 50s.
That's the place she
the
told me
20s,
about.
and then all of a sudden the 70s,
the thing, that Hill, that fifth right over, the small bottle.
Yep.
Yeah, I walked out with that. This right here. We tasted on our bus tour this year. He gave me that Colonel Lee, and then we're right after the bus tour. We're in.
I left with like a 72 Old Crow.
Yeah, he got that. But we're in Barton's, 1792 distillery with Ross Cornelison, the master distiller, because we did a podcast that Thursday, and we didn't know that, but Barton's distilled the Colonel Lee. He's got like an empty bottle of Colonel Lee sitting there, and like, yeah, we were drinking that yesterday. It's like, that's what I love about bourbon now. Not only is there the now and this awesomeness, and I hate it when people say, well, what they do now isn't any good. But no, what they do now is what they do now. Yeah. And it's going to sit a lot of it's going to sit in the bottle, and there's a lot of it in the barrels, but it's like, it's now. Nobody's ever happy with now, or they think now is the greatest time ever, and somehow bad shit shouldn't happen. But if you look at history, now always was thought as the greatest time, and everybody knew better, and bad shit should have never happened, but bad shit always was happening. It's just how it was. All right. So we got this old Carter. You got this Carter. Yep. Do you want to, since you have the glasses on, you want to read the side? Give us the breakdown on this.
I wasn't going to give the breakdown. First of all,
well, you got the breakdown.
First of all, I'm going to
shout out to Christy Atkinson.
I'm going to tell you a little bit about it.
She was watching tonight.
This is a collaboration with world-class vendor Carter Cellars, added as a special release. Continuing as a collaborative series that crosses spirits categories. Bardstown Bourbon Company's second new release is a collaboration with Mark and Sherry Carter and the decorated Napa Valley winemaker Carter Cellars. For this release, the custom blend of mature bourbon and rye rested in 10 Carter Cellars Napa Valley Cabernet barrels for an additional 14 months. The wine barrels were freshly emptied to impart maximum flavor, and they were separated and rotated throughout the rick house multiple times, yielding a beautiful balance of indulgent dark fruit and French oak spice. Carter Cellars has always shot for excellence in our award-winning wines, and we have a long history of producing 100-point wines. This has been a wonderful collaboration, bringing together our teams who are continuously on pursuit of perfection, said Mark Carter of Carter Cellars. Bardstown Bourbon Company's Carter Cellars Collaborative Series offers a premium and complex aroma of cassis, violet, cinnamon, and leather, On the palate, it presents a rush of dark fruit, roasted pecan, and vanilla cream that leads to a luscious, lightly tannic finish. It is presented at 108.3 proof and offered at a SRP of $159.99. And roughly only 225 cases will be available at Bardstown Bourbon Gift Shop and Kentucky retailers. So there you have it.
So
Now the breakdown of it
Here we go.
is, let me put my cork back on so I don't spill any of this.
no, don't spill this. That nose is amazing.
Actually, I'm gonna
Look at that color.
put me a pour in here so it can be air ready.
That's rich. That's rich. That's a rich.
Right, here's the breakdown on it.
Let's do it.
It is 49% Tennessee 17-year with a mash bill of 54% corn, 8% rye, and 8% malted barley.
Wow.
With a 41% Kentucky 12-year with a 78% corn, 10% rye, and a 12% malted barley. And then the rest is a 10% Indiana bourbon with a 6-year age of 95% rye and a 5% malted barley.
So this isn't even a bourbon. This is a 95 rye, which is famous by obviously the Indiana distillery of MGP or Squibb. Is that what it's called now?
Squibb Ross.
Squibb, yep. And then it's got, I actually believe that's a Beam mash bill on that 12-year.
What you think the other one's George Dickel?
Oh
That's
God.
good.
Whatever that, I'm pulling out a red licorice smell right there on the nose. I just out of nowhere. And it's just like, it's so complex on the nose, it's crazy. There's so much going on and it all blends together.
And sort of the cherry licorice.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about.
I tell you what, it's not. It's not that Von Payne.
There's a lot of chocolate.
Mm.
You getting some chocolate on there?
Yeah, like a, you know what? Like a deep chocolate.
Yeah.
Like a real dark deep chocolate. Like maybe like a.
There's a little bit, it's cherry, and then all of a sudden it's dark chocolate. And so it's like when you're tasting,
wow,
the closeness of the chocolate, the leather, the oak, and the tobacco. But when they express themselves, they always express themselves pretty much. And this one, when you're going, all of a sudden it just goes that little bit of dark chocolate on that.
I'm getting that dark chocolate.
And
I'm
how can you not
that.
like that? This is so rich.
I think this is a hitter.
But it does not drink like how did you say 108.7?
Yeah. It's actually 108.3. 108.3.
Oh, it's not good for me. That 4 point. No.
Sound like a radio station.
108.3. Yeah.
Almost like a dessert bourbon.
BRN 108.3.
It's a sipper. If I could do my Bill Burr impersonation. Tastes like whiskey.
It's whiskey. I'm glad I opened it. I really
Tell
like
you
it.
what. That's another one. That's
here's to sharing with good friends, man.
Cheers.
Same thing. Cheers to you, Nash.
Cheers, Nash.
Cheers, brother.
I tell you what, man. That's another one that's gonna make you stop. See, that's kind of my thing. Can you make me look at you a second time? Like, whoa, wait a minute. Okay, this is okay. I always take it back to a woman. If she can make you look at her twice, like
that's it. That's it.
Yeah,
right there.
You know, so whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah,
okay.
I've had that happen a couple times where it's like I start to walk away. I think it's good, and then all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, what the did I just taste? Yeah. And you look back.
If I turn my head back,
you want to see what you just tasted, and a lot of times there's a lot of surprises in there, and the more you taste, it's a little bit harder to surprise you because there's a lot of good stuff. When we went down to Bourbon on the Banks, we stopped off at Dark Arts, where
Not familiar with that.
Macaulay Minton, and he used to be at Wilderness Trail.
Okay.
Wilderness Trail sold out to, what is it? Is it Campari?
Yeah.
Yes, and he wasn't happy, so he went out and did his own thing. And Macaulay is a very unique individual. He lives his life like he likes. You just got to meet him, okay? But his palate is responsible for a lot of Wilderness Trail's deliciousness because he headed up their single barrel program. He was in charge of making the blends for the different. He picked out a shit ton of good ryes, but he appreciates the finer things in life, aged steaks, wine. He loves wine. He loves whiskey, bourbon. So he's got his own place now, and he's buying MGP. Went in MGP, picked out some fantastic barrels. The one barrel he let us taste, it's called. We're in the Rick House, and he let us taste a Maduro, right, finished barrel. And then he had Amberana that we
Brazilian wood.
We thieved it right out of the barrel.
That seems to
Fantastic.
be real popular right now.
But then he takes us back, and he knows we're appreciating good bourbon, and he goes, "This is the barrel I want you to taste." He's got it back there, and it says "Ballers Only." And he pulled some stuff out of that, and it was so complex and good. So it's just so much fun. We get to go. One thing I would recommend, if you can, they're like $350. Buy a Copper Thief, a whiskey thief.
Mm-hmm.
As you go through, if you go to a place like you're with somebody and you know somebody because you go on a barrel pick. And you get to know the people that are making this, like even around here, and you bring your Copper Thief, that is a entrance to the back room where the barrels are, and you get to taste some really good whiskey out of the barrel. And out of the barrel, when you're thieving a barrel with Freddie No, or you're thieving it with Connor O'Driscoll from Heaven Hill, the master distiller, or you're thieving it with different people. And you're in the Rick House, and it's that chilled whiskey. It's like it doesn't get any better. And my wife last year got me a Copper Thief.
Okay.
I've been in probably 50, 60 barrels with that thing that I never. Indian Creek down in the Springfield area. That's an Ohio distillery. They do some decent stuff. They've got these pot stills from before Prohibition, the copper that their parent that her grandma and grandpa were running, and she runs them now, and they're trying whatever, and they make whiskey, and it's just like they took us back one night. We were at a cigar event with them, and they got us into the Rick House, and we were thieving from. It was they gave a coffee company one of their barrels, and they aged the coffee beans in there, and then they gave the barrel back, so they had 13 gallons and the 53 gallons just in the. They let me put the thief in, get that stuff out, and I mean it was just. And then you get to go in.
How much does a thief hold?
What?
How much alcohol does it hold?
If you pull it out, it's probably about. You could get 2 Glencairns worth when you do it, but you're just basically thieving it. You fill a Glencairn, you pour it to everybody to do the sampling. It's what they use to get the whiskey out to taste it. Super Nash. We were at Green River, right? And that used to be Ozzie Tyler, and we know Aaron Harris down there. And when we were down there right before Kentucky Bourbon Festival, Aaron took us back there, and we were thieving stuff, and we were tasting some of the finest whiskey. That place with Ozzie Tyler, they were aging good stuff along with trying to rapid age stuff. Right. You know what I mean? And he's got the whole thing at his, and he just was like, get into this barrel. We're like, oh my God, that's good. get into this barrel. Oh my God. I think Nash thieved the barrel, CT thieved the barrel, he thieved the barrel, I thieved the barrel, Roxy. We were in 5 barrels before we even started podcasting. And when we hit the podcast, you could look at all our faces and we were like, it's not time to keep drinking.
It was crazy good.
Sauce. I thieved the barrel at Limestone. I thought that was fabulous.
Yes. Remember, did you thief it out of the small ones out of the containers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did that initially in 2019.
Yes, sir.
I mean, the whiskey was different. It's young. It was whatever, but those 15 barrels age whiskey different. And I'm not going to sit here and say to anybody that's bad whiskey. That's not. If you like that kind of whiskey, that's what you got to drink, and that's what we've all. Now, some people will sit there and go, "Oh, that tastes young, and I don't like it." And it's like, okay, you don't like it. Don't criticize somebody who does. Mm-hmm. It's like, because I'll criticize you for liking something that I don't like, but that's not what this is about, right?
Correct.
And
you've tasted my moonshine aged in a 2.5 gallon barrel. And some out of my 5 gallon barrel.
What else are you getting? The more you drink this, what are you getting?
Right.
It's changing.
There's a little mint.
I'm not getting mint. I'm getting
off the nose.
Oh.
That French oak.
Yeah, you're getting that. You're definitely getting that oak, man. Because like I told you, what I tell you before I said architect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The French oak, it's there. Not as chocolatey. Chocolate's barely there now, but that's what I loved about that.
I'm starting to get that Cabernet wine.
Yeah, I'll give you
that dark wine.
Yeah, I'll give you that. The little bit of the cab bitterness, not that cab. Cab isn't a sweet wine.
It's more of a.
It's a dry, bit. It's got a dry.
That's what on the finish. It's starting to get a little bit dry on the finish.
But that's what I also love about some bourbons as they open up. It's just a whole movie experience. It starts out one way. Anybody who noses first. That's not the way to nose a bourbon. You got to drink your bourbon and then nose it when it's gone, because that's when it smells the best in your glass. Have you ever left the cup?
I nose it as it goes along, because as the glass, like you said, as the glass gets empty.
You're so much better than us, because you nose it as it goes along. Yeah.
No way. I am no better than anybody, because I learn and learn and learn every day. And I learn from you guys. I learn and listen.
And you have gotten amazing. I agree with you. As you went along, you've always listened, learned, put your 2 cents in. We've always, me and you have developed our palates. I mean, I was not a huge fan of rye to start off, to say the least. Now there's ryes. Then there were ryes I liked, certain ones. Mm-hmm. Now there's ryes that I didn't like. Now, the ultimate, last year I was at Mother Stewart's and I tried Angel's Envy rye again. And I thought, well, maybe my palate's evolved that I like rye completely, right? I tried Angel's Envy rye, and it was basically I had to spit it out.
Barrel seagrass.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh my God.
I can't stand that type of. So you don't like barrel seagrass?
I love it.
You love it. So that's the type of rye I hate. Now it doesn't matter that I hate it and you love it.
Right.
You like that, but that celery taste.
So
now same thing with Willet. He got me a Willet 6-year.
Rye.
And I basically wanted to. It had dill and celery, and it was.
It was the Willet 2-year.
No. What?
The Willet 2-year.
It wasn't 2-year. It was 4-year. There was no way it was 2-year. You at least gave me the 4-year. So probably that bottle. It was a 6-year. You asshole. It was a special bottle. I swear to God, you sent it up to me. You're like, you're gonna like this rye. I'm like, no, it was horrible. I used it for Bloody Marys, like a bourbon Bloody Mary. It was perfect. I went down to Randy Prassi, who's the president of Kentucky Bourbon Festival, spent Friday and Saturday at their house and whatever. But Sunday morning when we got up, we made bourbon Bloody Marys with it,
Okay.
and it was awesome because it has celery and pickles, and then he took pickles and he put tomato juice in it, and it was fine. But as far as straight up, for whatever reason, now Minglewood makes that pickle whiskey.
Not familiar with the.
Minglewood is out of Worcester.
Okay.
They're local, and they were at the craft, and I met them, and they want. And I'm gonna probably podcast them, but it's just young millennials.
So at the Kentucky Derby Festival, Kentucky Festival,
Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
Bourbon Festival. Thank you.
Yeah, which you have to come down with us.
How many
Yeah.
vendors were there?
52 distilleries sampling
Distilleries, okay.
sampling in your 3-day pass, which was like $320 or whatever, and
So
you get 3 days, like $120 a day, right? Whatever, and you can sample all 52 of them all day long.
So
they got food trucks. They've got vendors selling merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
Merchandise.
And if you
vendors,
go
and
VIP,
then
which is impossible these days to get, I mean, we try to get VIP, but if you go VIP, then it gets into a different level in that tent. They're just serving shit
So it's
like,
the Woodstock of bourbon.
oh God. And then Bourbon on the Banks was good this year. You get
the thing is, Derek, is like when you go there, and it's like this year more than ever, all the distillers are there. And this year more than ever, they're out walking around instead of just staying in their booths. They're out walking around just enjoying the festival too and meeting and greeting with all the people that are going there.
Brent Elliott from
And,
Four
you know,
Roses signing away. Now, it wasn't an OBSK, so I passed on that bottle because the only thing I like from Four Roses, and Brent Elliott usually does that OBSK yeast strain and whatever, and I absolutely love it. At least I found 1 of 10. Because otherwise it's hot to me or it's too much, and I'm just not a fan of Four Roses, except that OBSK I will die for. I got a single barrel. We stopped off. It was OBSK. I'm like, oh my God. And it's so freaking good. So it's, once again, it's like, even if you might not like the majority of what's happening, you might like something that's happening. Right. And the only way to know is to get in. Yeah, exactly. Now, Kentucky Bourbon Festival, where it is hot for you, right? Not only can you sample 52, all the damn distilleries are selling their bottles. Hardin's Creek, Boston, Little Book. I mean, it just was one thing after another. I mean, I got the
team had. I mean, they had Little Book. They had Baker's 13.
I walked away with 2 bottles.
Then they
one
had
to drink and one
the 17-year-old Boston batch of the Hardin's Creek, and then they had, I mean, a ton of other stuff too that they
the Knob Creek 18 was there.
Knob Creek 18, and
all like $10 over because that's how Kentucky works.
That's cool. That's better.
Yeah, but there was unlimited numbers on all those bottles. I mean, you could buy
private Heaven Hill. What's it called?
Hill Select, and
13-year in.
They had a 13-year bourbon, and then it was aged 2 more years in Chinquapin barrels for 2 more years, which made it a 15-year.
Yeah, it's
and then they had an 8-year rye that was finished 2 more years in Chinquapin barrels, which made it a 10-year.
You bought it. That's the cool thing.
You can taste all that stuff before you ever bought it. While you were standing in line.
Last year's 18 Knob Creek. I bought it, whatever. This year's 18 Knob Creek was a little bit oaky. And so
last year's was a 15-year.
What?
Last year's was 15-year. This year's was 18-year.
No, is that 18 years right there?
That's 18.
Yeah, I got the 18-year from last year. It's sitting in that wood box, suspended in fucking phenomenal.
15 from last year, 18 this year.
There's no freaking Knob Creek 15.
I'm telling you.
All right, he's going to make me do it. He does this all the time.
Sit down.
Now it's 18, Super Nash.
Got this at the festival last year.
We should read the date. For real?
What's it say?
You're right. I'm wrong. Much bourbon for me.
No, but now this year, now Bland's wasn't not. It's funny because Buffalo
See?
Trace wasn't selling right at the festival, and we got a couple more minutes and we'll wrap it up. I know
I'm good.
it's getting late. But Buffalo Trace wasn't selling at the festival, but they were
Festival,
tasting
yeah.
everything. That in the VIP tent, they were
Wow.
tasting everything. Now, Buffalo Trace also had 1792 because that's Sazerac.
Right,
Okay,
right.
so we got to podcast with Ross Cornelison, and he was at the festival, and we were just like, we'd run into each other, we'd be like high-fiving and you know, say, but the night of bourbon on the, so I never got to taste the sweet wheat 1792. Have you had that before?
I've tasted it. I got a bottle, I tasted it.
And honestly, it's my favorite out of all the 1792s. I like 1792 on all levels. I even like the small batch. It's okay.
I love the small batch,
Yeah.
but the foolproof is my jam.
Oh yeah, and that foolproof from that one year, the 2019, is unbelievable. When they won Whiskey of the Year, it's fantastic. I got one in there. I got a single barrel in there.
Got a store pick.
He sent me up a bottled in bond. I've got a lot, but I've never had the sweet wheat. So on the podcast on that Thursday before,
Chew up samples.
he let us drink the sweet wheat, and I'm just like, oh my god, that's my thing. So Thursday night was Bourbon on the Banks, and he was there, and they were just serving up sweet wheat the whole night. I think I had 7 pours of sweet wheat that night. That was my jam on that night. And I'm like, I never had it before, and now you put a whole half bottle in me. And he was there, and he was pouring for me, and he's like, I'm like, man, thank you so much, Ross. Thank you for doing this for me.
Matter of fact,
right,
today,
real quick, Super Nash.
Hold on, Super Nash.
Real quick, this is a winner.
Sure is, man.
Yeah,
this is some awesome stuff.
This thing got better every sip.
So
you're not lying on that.
So Chrissy
So,
Atkinson.
Hold on. Today, in my memories, and you talking about the 1792 foolproof, that today in the memories, he opened up a box of 6 1792 foolproof store picks from a buddy of mine that did a barrel pick. And it just so happened, that's the first year that I actually met Jeff on Facebook in 2019. Like in September, I saw him doing the picture at Kentucky Bourbon Festival. It's on the wall there.
Beautiful picture.
Yeah, and I just happened to pick up a bottle of that Booker's that was close to the numbers, and I was like, dude, I just messaged him out of the blue. It was like, that night. I was like, man, I just happened to pick up a couple of bottles of that in Atlanta. And we got to talking. So then it wasn't, but a couple of weeks later, it was like, blah, 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 we got a group going, and like, 1792's foolproof is Bourbon of the Year, and, Fred Minnick's pick Bourbon of the Year, and it's like, well, shit. A buddy of mine just did a barrel pick here at a liquor store. He's like, really? How can we get some of that? Well, hell, I'll send you up some. Really? You don't even know me.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
He sends it up. He pays for shipping.
I sent him up 6 bottles of it.
Yeah, he sent me a case.
So how many you want?
So my guys I offered it for the price, and they all bought it. All 6 bottles, and we had a meeting. And he was, we told him about it, but it was just, that's how the friendship started. He just, this podcast doesn't happen without him, because what he kept doing, sending us up, he sent me up, it was the first rye. It was actually Colonel Taylor rye. No. Michter's toasted barrel rye. He sends up a sample of it. And I'm like hating on rye. And he sends up that sample, and I taste it. And that toasted barrel barrel proof rye tasted better than the bourbon.
Wow.
It was the first time I ever liked a rye. You know what I mean? So he's just sending us up. He sends up
Then
seven.
I
Then
start
Christmas
sending up
turns into
samples.
like
I start
I'm just
sending
telling you.
bottles.
My wife gives me
He starts-
Christmas presents, nice Christmas presents, but he's sending me up 4 or 5 bottles. At Christmas time, I open
I
one
just
for
like-
my wife,
He'd
and then
get
I
a
go,
box and it's like 3 or 4 bottles at a time, and it's like, here, open these up and let's taste these. You know,
I mean, he hasn't.
It's
I
just
mean,
like-
I mean, I'm going to throw it out there. You know, the Christmas. I've been doing pretty good at Christmas equaling, but you haven't been bettering those first Christmases where all of a sudden I was just like, holy shit, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, he sent me this. He sent me this. I felt like Christmas again. My wife was like, what about my present? I'm like, it's pretty good, but it's not this.
Yeah. Nash, I gotta taste that. I gotta taste that Fort Grain, man.
that
Yeah,
can happen.
yeah.
Yeah, he's
You
got
hadn't tasted the 4 grain there, Derrick?
Never had it.
I'll tell you what.
It's gonna be Nash.
You can, if you can make it to the Christmas party.
I'll be there.
All right, I'll have you a sample there.
I'll be there.
We're gonna get fucked up at the Christmas party.
You make sure that he damn well better not taste it.
Okay.
Oh, so I don't get any. It's like my
No,
favorite thing, my favorite jam. You're not gonna. You're not gonna. Yeah. Oh,
You've had yours.
you can always just bring the.
Hey, I'll
you know
have
what?
it.
Yeah. You
It'll
bring.
be in a
You
little
do the
bottle with its own little 4 grain label and everything.
You do that, and you do that, but then you bring me up the tornado batch. That's what I want to taste.
No, I
I've
got
had
the
that.
tornado batch. How am
Now,
I going to do
I've
that?
had the tornado batch.
Is it good?
You know what? At the time the person gave it to me, one thing I can say, it was different because I was still young in the bourbon game. Now that I can look back on it, yeah, it was fabulous. I mean, it was just different. That's the only thing I can say. It was like, man, this is different. I've tasted nothing like it. But I had the Warehouse C tornado batch.
Yeah. Oh,
I can only imagine because of
I just hope it
from
didn't
the
come
way
from
they
Justin's
describe it,
House
the
of
heat's
Bourbon.
hitting those
No,
barrels
no,
through
Came from
the
London.
the sun hitting those barrels through the top of that roof and all, and
Go
then
ahead,
the
go
cold
You
and
good?
all hitting
Yeah.
it too.
Okay. I know you got to drive.
I'll taste it one day, but
Have you had this
My
one
top-
right here?
He pulled out a Stellum, and it is the Gallenstein
Stellum.
Selection Leo.
like Stellum.
Yeah, I
Me
like-
too. Me
I like
too.
Is that a
Stellum
store?
too.
Is that a store pick?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Matter of fact, make sure I'm gonna have him pour some so you can have some. You got to empty.
Okay. Because I just
you want me to?
I've just
yeah, I do.
tasted like the regular, like the batch proof Stellum, but I bet that's pretty
I'm
good.
leaving you some, and when he mail you something, he can mail that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, he's coming up
Well,
December
okay,
15th.
well,
I'll
he can-
just have it for him.
Yeah, you'll just have it for him.
Let's see.
Okay,
Where's
awesome.
my Stellum? I actually ended up with a store pick Stellum, and I haven't even opened it yet. It's somewhere down there.
If you got an empty,
Yeah, I do. We'll do that
Yeah.
before you leave.
yeah, I want
I
you to have
lots of-
some.
You don't even want to know what. So you see, this is what. Let's see if I can get him how it works. This is how Nash
Sandy,
sends samples.
Great to see you watching. Cheers.
They have all the little
Wow.
labels. This is my favorite. Well, there you go. That's a Nash sample.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Sandy's watching.
Oh, are you sent him a William LaRue?
Yeah, brother.
Yeah,
Oh my
I mean, it
gosh.
comes up. It comes up.
Anytime you come to my house, and he sat here when him and his wife come down. We sat out there on the back deck, and I broke out the William LaRue and the 4 grain.
So
I've
he
never had
books.
William LaRue.
He starts breaking out Jim Beam decanters from his dad
So in the 70s.
in the 70s. But well, the first one we do is all cloudy. It smells like shoe polish. He knows it's bad. But the second one is this bright red, cherry red, beautiful.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
So
We're drinking this Jim Beam, and it's so fucking good. It was insane.
why haven't you tasted the William LaRue?
Those are all So he sends up the samples.
Okay.
He has his job that he does. He can't come on all the podcasts.
Mhm.
So I like to, when it's his samples, I save them.
I am breaking a record because I have been on the last 4 podcasts.
Cheers.
You-
You have. It's
Cheers.
fucking amazing.
2 last week and 2 this week, 4 in a row.
And now we're starting to get guests. Like when you book the guests, and then we'll put right now this format's great, but then with the guests we just do the 3 or 4 people that are on just all at once, so that you can see everybody talking.
That's cool.
But
hear that Sandy's watching.
Oh, Sandy, no.
Yeah.
Cheers, Sandy.
Cheers. I don't have anything in my glass.
Yeah. Well, if you want something in your glass, there's like everything here.
Oh, shoot.
And whatever
Derrick,
you want.
Right
Derrick.
here. Right here.
Grab it.
I don't want to knock that over.
Okay, we'll pull this off.
Thank
I'll
you.
hold that. You
All
pull
right.
that. Which
This-
one is
This
that?
right here.
That is a Knob Creek.
Yes.
That is from Kentucky Bourbon Festival of 2022.
This stuff
Derrick,
is. Yes,
Let me
sir.
ask you one. Did I hear you say that you hadn't tasted the William LaRue Weller either?
No, I never tasted that stuff. I've tasted George T. Stagg, Pappy 15, but never William LaRue.
Well, it's right there, and before you leave, you're going to taste it.
Well, I was about to say you'll have a sample of that because
Okay.
I just my girl that the Remus samples
Yes.
just about 6 weeks ago. I just happened to get her last bottle of that
Oh,
because
Of what? Remus?
no.
no
William
of
LaRue.
William
I
LaRue
love
Weller.
you.
We'll start calling you Santa Claus.
No, he's Bourbon Claus.
Bourbon Claus.
Bourbon
He's been
Claus.
called Bourbon Claus. And when he comes up here, he brings some shit up. I mean, God, you get to taste. And it's one thing to get sample bottles, but when you get a sample bottle like this, I mean, come on. That's insane. It's got the label. It's almost like getting what more do you need? Oh God. This shit is so
So check this out. So check this out. You will have Michner's 10 2023 that night.
So, all right, because I've got, like I told her, I said I've only got about that much left in my bottle on the shelf. So you're gonna get a 2-ounce pour along with the 4 grain, and I'm gonna send both of them up, and they'll have the little labels on it too.
Well,
So,
you will be drinking Michner's 10 2023.
Awesome.
I think this
You'll have a 3-ounce pour.
this
Awesome, brother.
Ain't that right, Aaron? Yeah, save 3 ounces. Thank you.
This is going to be an epic Christmas party.
It's going to be one of the most
people
epic
coming
Christmas
from
parties.
everywhere.
I'll
And
tell you what, it's
not
hard
only
to
that,
beat
but
Knob Creek.
we're going to smoke some awesome cigars that night too.
God.
Well, guess what we're smoking?
Ron.
Opus X.
What is open?
Explain
to me
Opus
Opus
X.
A Toro Fuente Opus X.
Okay.
I'm all for it.
So I have one of those for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, we're drinking. We're
You're
smoking.
going to have to come up with something special for me, too.
Well, you get Opus X.
I'll have open sex.
Yeah, open sex. Open sex, man. Have you smoked one before?
No, I haven't, but I saw one the other day. Those things are about $40 a piece.
Yeah, I get them for about 30, but
so do you go to bourbon?
Because I was just looking at my man's
Cigar 30. Do you go there?
Yeah, but the place to get Opus X, I'm sorry, Nash, Super Nash. It's a place called Pipe Rack up in Akron. They got all the Opus X. They even have the new ones that they come out with every year. They had the pink label. So I've been smoking a sophisticated hooker. That's the name of the cigar, sophisticated hooker.
Okay. It's like I didn't until today. I did. I mean, so we're just kind of getting into cigars.
Yeah. See, like I say,
I mean, we've been getting good cigars, right? I mean, Stephen Fonte. So he has in Louisville, his home has this backyard that is like a bourbon, like out backwoods. It's got a fire pit, but
Oh,
it's all
man.
designed
Sounds amazing.
for video and podcasting, and it's his backyard. And
barrel picking too.
Yeah, barrel picking. So he's invited us to come there next time we're in Louisville
where
and
you
hang out
going?
with them.
Hang out
Dude,
with them and smoke cigars and actually
this is
feed from the
awesome that
barrel.
we're doing this.
When you
because
going? I
I'm
go to
letting you
Louisville.
know. I mean, you have the greatest schedule.
Yeah,
I have to
flexibility.
I have to introduce you to CT because CT goes down. I'm so jealous of him. He's going down Fridays. He went down today and every time he goes down. And then
today?
He was down today. He saw Stacy picked up our new riff pick from the Kentucky Bourbon
You
Festival.
ever work?
No, exactly. That's what I think all the time. But he's down there, and then they saw me and picked up 4 barrels from him. They're drinking their butts off, and then it means while they're loading up the barrels to go back, he's like, "Where's your license plate?" And he never threw a license plate on the truck. So they're driving back.
Oh my God!
They're driving back.
He must have drove one of the trucks off the lot.
Yeah, he's got trucks because he sells cars and does stuff. So he's always got
we
something.
sell cars for
Himself.
Okay.
He's down in Springfield by Columbus.
Drive one motorsports.
Drive one motors like Toy Barn and all that. Okay, so check this out. The guy I bought my car off, Charshon's.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Randy McQuaid. He sold a car to the CEO because they sell high-end cars.
Right.
Willett. Down there, he sold a car to Willett.
Willett. Oh my God.
So the guy says we were supposed to do a trip down. He told us to come down. He was going to take me, but he got so busy with work he couldn't take me. The guy sends him. He says, "I'm gonna send you 2 bottles." He sends him a 9-year. And he sends them the 80th anniversary year. And just send it to him. He's like, try these. 9-year purple top. Just send it to him.
Do you like him?
He's a collector. And I told him, I said, you got to
No. When it comes to purple tops from Willett, you should be a collector because
Really?
I'm not a fan of Willett stuff, but
I have to defer.
Oh, you're gonna disagree? Okay.
Yeah, but that's bourbon, and that's right.
Yeah, the purple tops. When you start getting into those purple tops, they've got some pretty good purple tops.
Wait, how would I know? Hey, Nash, how would I know? Because I've never been able to get any because you never send any up.
Not going to.
Yeah, send some purple tops up, motherfucker.
I'm not sending purple. I might send.
I want purple tops.
I might send Derrick a couple purple tops.
Oh, no, I've had a purple top 6.
Matter of fact, I might send Derrick an 80th anniversary purple top because I got an 80th anniversary that I ain't.
I had an 80th anniversary. Check this out. What'd you think about the Stellum store pick?
I liked it.
What'd you get from it?
Currants.
Okay.
It's a really rich raisin currant.
What age you think?
When I get currant, it's usually right around the 5-6 year, and that richness is so good. Like a cigar would go with that really well.
Okay.
And then out by the fire on a cold night like tonight, that would warm me up. That's what I'm getting. And the proof is, I'm going to say it's over 100.
It's 119.
Yeah, it's over. It's got that warmth.
Oh, I call it truth, sir. You have a couple good pours of this, and you're telling your old lady everything you didn't want to tell her.
There you go.
And we all know in bourbon that we need to behave because otherwise we're effed by our women. Shout out to Roxy. That's for sure. After this week, and my what would you say, epiphany that I had earlier this week.
You had an epiphany?
I had an epiphany, and somehow I
survived
it. It cost So I was like, the next day I was like, oh, I'm just such an asshole. And I'm just like, oh my God. She tried to do something nice.
Had an
And then I
epiphany
tried
and
to
you
hold
told
her
her.
accountable for it. And then so I go to Giant Eagle and dozen roses on sale for $6.99. $9 savings. I'm like, I'm on board for 2 dozen. So the first time in my life I ever bought her 2 dozen roses to say I'm sorry. So that was one of those. And it was definitely, it wasn't bourbon related, but somehow.
It was just being a
Did you
husband.
get her a
Oh,
dozen Scotchy Bourbon Ball chocolates?
She's got like 10.
What are those?
Derrick, don't worry. You're leaving with a dozen or 9. We sell them in packs of 9. And then once all I ask, you take them home. And then once you taste them, just tell people about them because I sell them.
Okay.
We actually are trying to get Michter's to sell them, to produce them. My wife has perfected the bourbon ball. I started it. We started from the Maker's Mark recipe. And then we've probably made 30, 40 different batches with different bourbons. And we know how to do it. Okay. She's perfected the creaminess. She's perfected the amount of bourbon. We, in some cases, like this batch right here was Early Times. Early Times makes the best bourbon balls. Okay. But this particular Early Times was
she said send her some with Randy.
Were soaked for 14 weeks. 14 weeks.
So I have 2 bottles of Early Time. I have the black cap and I have the blue cap. Yeah. Have you had the black one? Yep. What'd you think?
Both are fantastic.
I think so too.
Derrick,
I had opened up in 1976 Early Times at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
We did?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did with didn't we taste that with Seth from Broken Barrel? Have you had Broken Barrel?
I've seen this bourbon a lot down in
hold on. It's right down there.
You hear me, Jeff?
See that?
Stacy,
the 123. What?
Stacy said send her some with Randy.
She wants bourbon balls.
Yep.
Yeah, Stacy, done.
Absolutely.
So I'm as you can tell, I'm a Packer fan.
Yeah,
originally from Wisconsin. Then we moved here 20 years ago. My mom was from Canton. My dad was from Kenosha.
Your mother's from Canton?
Yeah, she grew up here.
Where she grew up?
31st Street. My grandpa owned Garfield Groceries over by Timken.
Wow.
So he worked there and then owned it for a couple years. But I used to come here on summers in the 70s and work the candy shop. We'd be here for a week. I get to sell candy off the thing. That's where I learned to love baseball cards.
Let me ask you a question. Is there a cheese, since you're from Wisconsin, that pairs with bourbon?
Yeah.
Which one?
There's many.
Okay. All right.
There's many.
And what comes to mind first?
A really good sharp cheddar. I mean, if you're talking, oh my God. And then so you take pretzels and a port wine cheese spread, and then you put a really good, you can get a bourbon going with that. But the sharp cheddars mixed with smoked ham so we're at Kentucky Bourbon Festival, and Fred and Freddie are shaving a freaking smoked ham while you're buying your little book. And I'm like, Freddie,
oh, that was so cool.
Can you cut that for me? He's like, yeah, cut it yourself. I'm like, Freddie, I don't want to cut it myself. You cut it for me. So now there's also before that, there was a thing where they basically make a trough and they drink bourbon. So they pour the bourbon on one part. So they shave it. So there's like a U in the middle. And And then they'll pour bourbon on one side and let you taste the bourbon as it rolls across the smoked ham, and then they'll shave the ham off and give you a piece of the ham.
That almost sounds sexual.
Oh, so Randy Prassi,
I kind of missed that.
the
Where was I?
president of
I think I was
Kentucky
out
Bourbon Festival.
working on that
He did
and
it.
getting
He
all kind
did
of interviews that day.
Seriously, he did it, and they put it up online. It was like a reel, and they had to take it down because it looks sexual.
Yeah.
He's like that, but it's not. It's not. I mean, for God's sakes, it's a smoked ham.
I know, but
Don't put it online, but experience that. You know what I mean? That bourbon mixed with that little, as it runs over, picks up that little bit of salt, a little bit of ham. Oh my God! And it was, I think it was Knob Creek 15.
Jeez.
Or 12.
What you
It
think?
was 12.
What you think, Super Nash?
I think I might need to order one of those smoked hams and have that set up for our Christmas holiday party.
We need to have Sandy bring it up. That would be pretty
Absolutely.
cool. I've been invited. So the more people I invite, the more people who are coming. So
Matter of fact, if I order up that smoked salty
do you need
ham,
anything more? Or you
cut
good?
that trough,
You good?
and set up the ham luge, I think, Jeff, you need to crack that Booker, that old Booker's that I'm bringing up to you, the CO17
I'm cracking any bookers you come up. We're on board. And then when we go down, we'll drink the rest.
We're gonna taste that William LaRue before I leave.
Yeah, you want that?
Yeah.
All right, let's
taste
do it. We'll
Get
do
with
it.
us.
Absolutely.
Let's not taste it. Let's fucking drink it.
Yeah, here we
Can you
go.
believe he saved that? You know how that's been a couple of years since I sent
Okay.
that up to
Really?
him. Yeah,
It's been a couple of
it's
years.
about time he cracked it and shared it with somebody special.
Well, I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen,
That was a couple of years
Here
ago.
it is. No, it was recently.
Yes, no, that was a couple of years ago.
All right, I'll defer to you.
Yeah,
Don't worry. It was just in the spring.
oh my God.
it
There we
wasn't.
go.
How do you think I'm going to let William LaRue Weller sit for a couple of years?
Woo!
I had it last year at Gervasi, and then you sent it up. Oh my God, it's so good. This is
that nose.
so when I tasted this last year. This is the same batch. When I tasted it at Gervasi, I cried. It was so
See,
good.
Oh my God.
you need to go in there and get my bottle now, since y'all are tasting it.
Caramel.
Man, hold on. Not only caramel. Oh.
So good.
No, it's caramel.
I mean, you're getting that caramel, but
It's like actually caramel from a caramel. It's
oh my God.
maybe caramel apple. There's a little
apple, little, but not. It's something. Oh my God. Man, I
It's
tell
so
you what,
fun.
I tell you what, this is incredible.
It is.
Hold on.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for coming over.
No problem.
It's absolutely, Derrick. Great to meet you tonight, and super fun hanging out and just talking with you. And
Hey man, it's nice to meet you a second time.
Yeah.
I tell you
yeah, a
what,
second time. Yeah, this time we actually got time to hang out and talk and
drink.
just enjoy company and
drink.
and drink. Right? Yeah, the first time we didn't get to drink.
Well, we had liquor out there. We always got liquor out there.
So Stacy commented she wasn't invited. So what wasn't she invited to? Because Stacy, you have an open invitation to every single thing that happens.
She was saying from their smokehouse, and then I wasn't invited.
That's insane.
Hey, Stacy, I wasn't invited to that one either.
So
he made me go out and work and get interviews and all that kind of stuff. So I never saw anything of it.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. So I'm
Talking about the country ham bourbon luge.
I'll tell you what.
She got to probably drink. Oh, yeah. That's what she's talking about when Randy drank that.
I tell you what, I'm gonna search for a bottle of that. I gotta have a bottle of that. That's just.
Will you share a little?
Oh, always.
Because this is by far, I think, it brings seriously, it's bringing tears to my eyes.
So
again.
it's your
So
party.
this is one level of bourbon that's gone to another level. I've had the George C. Stagg. I like George C. Stagg.
Me too.
But it's not this level.
No.
This is, and honestly, this goes above and beyond.
Like I say, on the Weller line,
Pappy.
this is the best of the Weller line, in my opinion.
It's above and beyond Pappy. That's like they reserve.
What about, hold on, fellas. We got to get that $10,000 bottle of Eagle Rare 25.
Oh, yeah.
At 10,600.
So if it's available in the lottery to Ohio, one of us wins, we'll all pitch in.
You know what? That bottle, I've seen it secondary already for $23,000.
It's insane.
But we're not paying that.
Why would, if you got it?
We're not gonna pay that. We're not gonna pay secondary. We're gonna get it for less than that. We're gonna trade up.
Yeah, we go. Yeah, but I'm saying that bottle is already going for $23,000.
I know. There's some bottles that,
oh my God,
can make you money. And just imagine if you hung on to it for 25 years.
Oh man, I mean, like like that 2007 Pappy 23 that went for like $52,000, $56,000.
Yep. And then I got a question that when Colonel Taylor's
Amateur the God.
No. They are making Old Taylor the way Colonel Taylor made it in the fermenter at the dig. They are fermenting constantly and making Colonel Taylor with the turn of the century corn.
Those are 375 bottles.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Are they starting to put that out? Because
they're coming out in a set.
No, it's not. Those are the 375 bottles in the set are the experimental bottles.
Right.
But if you go on the Colonel Taylor, they found his fermenters and they dug them up.
I've seen it down there at the Buffalo Trace.
Right. And I put, you went on that tour?
Yeah.
So those fermenters are making Colonel Taylor's 1897 with the corn strain that they genetically matched to what he was using. And then they're making E.H. Taylor out of those fermenters.
Wow.
Now, when we went down to talk about it with Harlan Wheatley, they told me he's not talking about that.
Why would he?
I don't know, but that I want to taste. Don't you, Super Nash?
Absolutely. Hey, Stacy said Christmas party.
Yeah.
She invited. Tell her.
What the hell? It's an open anything that the Scotchy Bourbon Boys do is an open invitation to Stacy Pritchard.
Tell her where it's at and everything.
Yeah, Stacy,
open. Yes, she is invited. 100%. Tell her to check out the rooms at Gervasi because it's worth it.
Yeah.
She'll be right there, and we'll just go party in her room.
Come introduce yourself.
So Stacy is she works for the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. She was not this year, but the last year she was a volunteer there. She was a volunteer throughout. Then Randy hired her, and she is the distillery liaison for the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. Plus, then she helps Randy run.
So much more than that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But she has connections. So I'm just telling you, every single freaking day she goes out in Louisville and Bardstown, and she's with someone. She was working at Watch Hill proper before this, and so she still has her Watch Hill proper connections. She used to work at Heaven Hill. She has her Heaven Hill connections, and then she's in charge of the 52 distilleries that go to Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
Wow.
And then she helps Randy, who is who I'm going to go see the Packer game with this weekend, because me and Randy initially when he took over, I went to Kentucky Bourbon Festival in 2019, experienced the festival. In 2020 he took over, but COVID hit, so he had to do a virtual festival. But I'm from Wisconsin and he's from Wisconsin, and he used to run the Wisconsin State Fair. Then he went from that to the Kentucky Derby. He was in charge of the Kentucky Derby event, but he also ran security for Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Wow.
Then he, in 2020, nailed the Kentucky Bourbon Festival president. So in 2020, I reached out to him right away, and because we have Wisconsin ties, and I loved what he did with the Wisconsin State Fair, because I lived there forever and went to the fair all the time and everything. He made it a better fair by far by adding permanent structures and doing things. So we got to talking, and so we're Packer fans, and he was on. So we just kind of hit it off. So we're really good friends. He is El Presidente. That's what the president of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys.
Okay.
So when we go down there, we've been asked by other podcasts, how the hell did you do that? It's because Randy's just a really good friend. I mean, a personal friend. I look at him, and we grew up at the same time. We experienced Wisconsin the same time. We've had the same, so when you meet someone like that, and once again, that's what's so great about bourbon. It doesn't matter what level they exist at. Whether it's the Knows, where we know Sandy Know, she is the mother of Freddie Know, and the husband of Fred Know, and she's been on the podcast. This year, she drove us in a golf cart. Me and Super Nash, we came up to get some. She drove us to the Kentucky Bourbon Festival in a golf cart from their house to the festival and dropped us off so we could go to the festival. I mean, you just get these unbelievable experiences through bourbon.
Yes.
It's not bourbon is the connection, but people are the connection.
True.
And when you have this under control, like you just sip every once in a while, you drink a little bit more, but overall you have it. Bourbon is life. It's part of life. It's good for you. If you don't abuse it.
Yeah.
You can't abuse it. There's no doubt. If you abuse it, all the shit goes out the door.
That's the number one social drink.
Yeah. But it's like there's nothing. I mean, sitting back on your back porch.
Oh man.
Someone said what? So Kirkland, which is Costco, they came out with whiskeys and they were selling them. They can't do it here in Ohio, but they did it in every other uncontrolled state.
Which is Bardstown. Which is
Bard. But people were trying to tell me it was $17.92.
Yeah.
It's not said. Why would they do that? Sell it for $18 when they can sell it for $36. It makes no sense, right?
Nah.
But at the same time, I'm not in it for discounts. Are you in it for discounts?
No.
I'm in it for
full price for everything.
But I'm in it for the experience.
Yes.
I love Booker's because of packaging. Right? I love the box. I love the label. I love the name. I love the little tag that tells you where it's from. It's the whole deal.
I love the chase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, there for a while, you could get Booker. I used to go up until last year. I used to be able to get Booker's, the week of. It would hit. Yeah. There you go. You like that? You want some more?
No, I'm good. I got to get on that road.
Yeah, we got to get going. All right. So,
yep.
I should have. All right. Here we go. I'm ready for that. So, thank you, Super Nash, for joining us.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Derrick. for
Yeah,
joining
Derrick.
us.
Now forever, it's like I kept meeting you, and I knew your name was Derrick, but then it was Daryl, Derrick, whatever. But then the last couple times it was Derrick, and then now I know how to spell it with 2 R's.
Yeah, that's the only way you can spell it.
Yeah. So now
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, thank you so much for
I
coming.
appreciate the invite, man. This was
Yeah.
fun.
Brandon,
Thank you
right?
for coming.
Derrick, I got 2 first names.
Yeah. Derrick
Hey.
Brandon.
Yeah, when I was
All
in the
right.
military, I had Brandon on my uniform. People said, "How you get your first name on your uniform?" I said, "No, it's my last name." So I got 2 first names.
And you're proud of that, right?
Hey, that's what I was born
So,
with.
hey, absolutely.
Yes,
Got to
sir.
be proud of it.
Hey, man.
Cheers.
Good talking to you tonight.
Yep. Remember.
Thank you,
Here,
for,
brother.
Thank you again. You will be drinking Michner's 10. You'll have a 3-ounce pour, man.
Yeah.
And you know you got a couple of good pours coming up
Well, I
too.
appreciate
And and also one other good thing about coming to the party is I am definitely going to be sending up some good
We're down the wrong pipe. Okay, I'm good. I'm back. I'm back. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I always, as Jeff said earlier, I'm bourbon clause when it comes to Christmas because you know I got too many bottles to drink in my lifetime, and I like one good thing about me is I like to share my bourbon. You know,
Yes, sir.
sharing is just the best way.
It's an experience.
Yeah, experience in life and meeting good people and good friends and having a good time. And so I'm going to be bringing up or sending up some good bottles and some Christmas presents that's going to be on a random raffle wheel that's going to be given away at the Christmas party.
That will be awesome.
And that's all you got to do is going to be there and to get your name on the raffle wheel giveaway.
You're gonna have one right there at Gervasi. Your phone is gonna be spinning.
You're absolutely right. And too bad that you can't be honored again.
Just I don't want to be on it, but just remember, Mike Lefferton, our bartender for that night.
Yes.
You need to bring something up for him to take care of him because Mike is
after what he did for us last year.
Yep.
Yeah, I got him covered.
Yep, for sure. All right, everybody. We're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Thank you so much, Derrick, for coming here tonight.
Appreciate the invite
and hanging out
sharing
on a
some
Thursday
good
night.
pours and good times.
It's been fun.
Yep, and check us out, www.Scotchy Bourbon Boys, for all the Scotchy Bourbon Boys merchandise. Glencairns, also T-shirts and
shirts,
bourbon balls.
Swag.
Yep, check it out for all that. And then remember, we're on all
coming
the
soon.
Go ahead.
Glencairn holders around the neck.
No, don't be selling Glencairn holders yet. They're not there.
I
got them, but I don't have our names on them yet. It's not happening
I
yet.
said coming soon.
Coming soon. All right. And then also, remember, we are in all the podcast formats and then also all the social media formats. And remember, good times equals good bourbon equals good times, good friends, drink responsibly, don't drink and drive, but make sure you go out and live your life dangerously, and little Steve-O is going to take us out.
Go out and live your life. Gosh.
Did it do it?
Here's everybody. Thanks for watching, everybody. And tuning in and doing what you do.
That was fun, man.
Right.
Yeah, that was fun. Yes, sir. That was fun, man. Hey.
I'm gonna do it like this.
Give you a hug, Nash. You got a hug. You got a hug.
Yeah, a virtual hug. And a cheers with my whiskey glass.
Pour me a little bit of that water, man. We don't find the next whiskey bar. I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. Cool. I tell you
I tell you, we must die.
All right.
Spirits of French Lick is proud to introduce the Lee Sinclair Four-Grain
I gotta stop recording.
4-year age double
Yep.
pot distilled non-chill
Stop.
filtered bourbon.
All right.
All right, that's done. We're still on Facebook Live and YouTube. Let me get rid of Alan Bishop.
Resolving the sweet, fruity, almost brown
Where is it?
black pepper. Our spirits are available for tasting and purchase inside the French Lick.
Did that do it? All right. So,
All right.
all right. Thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate it. There's a bunch of people still watching. It was you bring in a crowd.
Hey,
I brought in the crowd.
Thank you. And that's for
and
sure.
here's a
So,
Kentucky hug, everybody.
all right, so I'm gonna first cash off the YouTube. Thanks everybody for watching YouTube. Where's my? It should. Oh, I'm doing it the wrong way. I'll go over there.
Eric, another one of my favorite pours besides all the mixers is the Old Foresters.
Oh, I
Like
love
the
it,
old-
barrel proof.
Yeah, like the Old Forester barrel proof. The Old Forester. Well, you can see right up there on that shelf. There's
Oh
a couple.
yeah.
The blue label Old
Oh,
Forester
yeah.
barrel proof right there.
Yeah, I just
And,
did a barrel pick of that.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I got it already, so yeah, make sure you get some of that too. That stuff's fabulous.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Love to have a bottle of it.
All right,
Yeah.
so we're off Facebook, and I'm taking us off YouTube. Thank you everybody for watching on YouTube.
Hey, everybody watching this on YouTube. Cheers, everybody. Good night.
Cheers. Good night.